Jada, can you hear me? Can you hear the video? This is a live press conference. That's why I'm going live so soon. Nikki Tupos, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Is anybody out there? And can you hear the video playing with the troops? Yeah, it is real low. This right here is live. Governor Greg Abbott, which is the governor of Texas, holds a border security press event in Eagle Pass, Texas. That's the only reason I'm going live and a half hour early. Kane, oh my God. How are you, love? Squirrel, oh my God, I ain't seen you forever. Kane's she's an OG. OG. How are you doing, beautiful? It's so good to see you. It's always a pleasure to see Kane. I love her. We're like way behind on this press conference, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. But yeah, see our troops, man, they barricaded. It's just some serious stuff here, you know. Let's see here. Yep. Yeah, it's as loud as it'll go. Let's see here. Abbott means business, man. Security press event in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah. So I don't know. Right, but I don't. If we could try to minimize you being in the shot, I think that'd be more preferable. I don't know. Yeah. Just put it like right here or something.
Nikki, the video's low. Okay, I am doing great myself, and I'm glad you are too, love.
Right.
So good to see you.
You could put it there. Could you? No, but like, can you just rest it here? Yeah. What about?
Who doesn't love a man in uniform, right, Jada? Not them ones overseas that has stolen valors, you know. How's your pupper dogs, Kane? I'm sure y'all could guess what kind of dog she has. She has beautiful dogs. That made my day to see you, Kane, for real. Too many OGs don't come over here much anymore. Unc does quite frequently. NorCal girl. Not many people. Oh, it's so good that they're doing good. Y'all that don't know Kane, she is an OG from like Queen Bee and all of us and Unc, and yeah, I love Unc too, Kane, man. He's like one of the realest ones, ain't he? That man's like a brother instead of an uncle. Well, he's about an uncle, but yeah, we love some Unc. He's usually in here checking in or something. Trying to get this. What the hell? Come on. It's all just a troop standing there. Up. They like barricade it so them illegals can't come over. Hey, BJ, good to see you. Seeing a lot of people I ain't seen in a while. Always a pleasure. Yeah, they ain't messing around, are they? And I love it. So many different convoys, different governors all over the country's coming in. Yeah. Oh, Nikki, she's got beautiful dogs. Hey, Kane, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. Have you seen Veggie Steams around lately? I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. They're gorgeous, okay, and you're an amazing dog mommy lover. You are. What the hell? Come on. Yeah, I ain't seen her either. You know she's somewhere causing some shit. All I gotta say is Veggie Steve's a bit. OGs know what I'm talking about. Good old days. Good old days. Remember Hate Jaw? Hate Jaw? Come on, what the hell? I thought we was. They should have waited a little bit, in my opinion. I mean, I like seeing this, but state trooper. Yeah, yeah. I'm so proud. I'm proud right now. I mean, for this stuff, the way people are stepping up, even civilians like us, the truckers are stepping up and like, no, fuck this. We're taking our country back. Enough's enough. And yeah, hate jar. Yeah, I love that one. It was the good old days. I wouldn't even know a lot of people went through hell. Hate jar. Star Mama, hey love, how are you? See, I'm seeing people I ain't seen in a while. I figured Star Mama would pop in on this. We did have some good times. We really did. Pull all nighters, man. Y'all, back in the days, them OG days with Queen and everybody, we'd have like this girl, Chrissy, and then Hate Jar, and there's just so many people fighting and doxing each other and threatening kids. And there'd be like, people would be up 24-hour live streams going on. I go to bed, come up, and it was wild. Oh, yes, BJ. Actually, I am proud of JLR because I can go with anybody that's actually trying to do better and change their life. He stays in his own lane. He does his thing. He gets out there and does the work. He has showed a lot on this situation, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't know it. And I got a lot of stuff I'm going to play for him of his. Why is Abbott in a? Is that Abbott? Why is he in a wheelchair? Has he always been in a wheelchair? I'm sorry, the volume is low. Same, Jaded. Same, sis. For real. I never ever thought I would like JLR, but yeah. He does his own thing, stays in his own lane. Yeah, that is Abbott. Why is he in a... I wish I could get this louder. Hold on just a second. Let me pause it here and see. See. Let's see here. Okay. It's just low volume. I'm really sorry, you all. Hey, Capoodler, Pooter. I can't say that right. Hi.
Tip in when they're all set up. Thank
Star
everybody
Mama,
for
I did
being here
not know
today.
that.
I am joined by members of the Texas legislature, and we're here to explain to America that we are dealing with the biggest border crisis since America had borders. It's all because Joe Biden allowed this entire area to be penetrated by the drug cartels that smuggled in illegal immigrants. If you see an area that is boxed off by a container that has razor wire on the container or on the ground or on the fence, those are areas that illegal immigrants were once able to cross that are now unable to cross. And the reason why we've been able to achieve that level of decrease in illegal crossings is only because of great teamwork in agencies across the state of Texas. First, an update about some numbers from the Texas Department of Public Safety. They have made over 39,000 criminal arrests. They have apprehended more than 480,000 illegal migrants. They've deterred more than 95,000 illegal entries and engaged in more than 4,300 bailouts. They have filed more than 19,000 charges for smuggling. Those charges for smuggling now face a new consequence because of members of the legislature who stand behind me. They passed a bill that I signed into law that increases the mandatory minimum time behind bars for smugglers to 10 years. If you smuggle somebody into or through and across the state of Texas illegally, you'll be spending a long time behind bars. In addition to what the Texas Department of Public Safety has been doing, we've also had unprecedented success by the Texas National Guard. They have more than 1 million encounters with illegal immigrants. They have turned back more than 90,000 people who were trying to get into the country illegally. In addition to what they're doing through other agencies and in part through what the National Guard themselves are doing, there have been more than 160 miles altogether of barriers placed up, not counting the border wall. They include the razor wire, fencing, anti-climb barriers, these Connex boxes, and the buoys that are in the river. Those together add up to more than 160 miles of barriers that have been placed up. Also, Texas is the first and only state in the history of the United States of America to build our own border wall. If you look at the amount of wall already constructed and the amount of wall that is going to be under construction, Texas will have built more of the Trump border wall than even Trump built in the state of Texas. Now, the results are amazing. If you look at what has changed with regard to illegal border crossings in the past half year or so, you see that even though Texas represents about 2/3 of the border, we represent only about 30% of the crossings. The lead crossing areas are California, Arizona, and New Mexico that represent 70% of the crossings. Now, unlike before, migrants are choosing to go to states other than Texas. And that's because Texas has put up the resistance that it has. Early on, under the Biden administration, most of the migrants were coming through Texas. That's not true. The same is true for this area that we gather in right now. If you look at this massive park area, this is an area where you would regularly see 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4,000 people crossing the border illegally. Since this park has been taken over by the National Guard, the daily average is under 10 a day. It shows that deterrence can achieve results at decreasing illegal immigration. The only reason why it's not happening is because the president of the United States is not enforcing the laws that are already on the books. He does not need more laws. He has the tools in his toolbox to do exactly what Texas is doing, and that's to deny illegal entry into the country, which he is required to do by laws already passed by Congress. Part of the teamwork that we're seeing is tremendous leadership by the Texas National Guard to look forward about where we are going uh, on strategies to both add and to accommodate more National Guard in this area. We will also work with the National Guard to continue their strategies of adding more miles of razor wire and anti-climb barrier, to also recognize another branch of government in Texas that is a partner in this effort, and that's the legislative branch. The tools and strategies that DPS, the National Guard, that I and others have to do anything to secure the border would not exist if it weren't for the efforts of the members of the Texas House of Representatives. I want to have some of them speak at this time, including the chair of House Appropriations, Chairman Greg Bonnet.
Thank you, Governor. Governor, thank you for your leadership on this issue. I remember in mid 2021, the governor asked to visit with me in his office. He had already initiated Operation Lone Star. And what he shared in that visit was that the problem at the border was of a magnitude that we had never before experienced. And efforts and initiatives we had taken in the past were simply going to be insufficient. We needed a new plan, and it was going to require great resources. And since that moment, with Governor Abbott's leadership and with Speaker Phelan's leadership, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, and all of the members of the House of Representatives that you see here, we have been unwavering in our commitment to step into the gap and to address a chaotic crisis where the federal government has refused to address and enforce our immigration laws. When you look at the appropriations for border security under the 4 years of the Trump administration in Texas, that was $1.6 billion. For the 4 years of the Biden presidency, Texas is appropriating $11.6 billion to do the same thing. And what we're seeing is that that deterrence does work. And the park in which you're standing right now is proof positive of where once there was chaos and several thousand people a day coming across, it has slowed to an almost non-existent number. So it can be done. When you break down the effort, about $3.1 billion goes into barriers and border infrastructure. About $200 million, because Texas has banned sanctuary cities in our state, goes to transporting illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities in other parts of the United States. And the balance is spent on the Texas Military Department and the Department of Public Safety for human resources and operations, and we thank them for the great work that they're doing. And the thing that everybody should understand is that the governor, the speaker, lieutenant governor, and all of the members who you see before you stand firmly committed that as long as there is an absence of the federal government doing its job to secure our international border, we will step up and take their place.
Thank you very much. Next is Representative Spiller.
Yes. Come on. Texans know that the Biden administration has completely failed and refused to secure our border and enforce federal immigration policy. Our cries for help, our demands for help have been ignored. We've had enough in Texas. And so with my help, I carried, and we, with the group here today, passed, and with Governor Abbott's signature, passed SB 4, the strongest border security bill in the history of our state and the history of our nation. For the first time ever, we're allowed to prosecute people coming into our state illegally from a foreign nation if they cross it someplace other than a lawful port of entry. It's a landmark bill that allows Texans to protect Texas, allows us to return those that arrive here illegally and to prosecute and incarcerate those that refuse to comply. And so it's completely constitutional because it's in compliance with the precedent set in the Arizona case. It's not preempted by existing federal immigration law. It's not in conflict with federal immigration law that's in place. And mostly, Texas has the right, the constitutional right and authority to secure its border. And so we're proud of that bill. The Biden administration continues to fight us They're spending more effort to fight us than they are to secure the border. And we look forward to that fight in the court. I know his Department of Justice has filed a suit to contest that. To that, I would say, bring it. We're ready for that fight. And so I would look forward to continue with the opportunity to work with this group of conservative representatives to continue to protect Texas and our country. Look forward to working with Governor Abbott and his leadership. We thank him for that and the job that he's done so that Texas leads the way to show others how we protect our state and our country.
Thank you, Representative. And now Representative Trice-Clair.
Every single legislator standing here represents a border district because every one of our districts is impacted by what comes across this border. Every state in our country is a border state because there is no state in the United States that is not impacted by the drugs, by the weapons, and by the humans that are trafficked across this border. American children are dying every day of fentanyl in every single state that comes across this border. Women who are being trafficked across this border are sold into sex slavery every day and trafficked through the cartel network across our country. And let me make one thing very clear. There is not a single person coming across that is free. Every single one of them is paying a very dear price to the cartel. They are paying with their money, they are paying with their bodies, and they are paying by being sold into indentured servitude. And President Biden is not just supporting it, he is encouraging it. Instead of protecting Americans, he is protecting the cartels. They are making more money off of his failure at the border than they ever have before. And Governor Abbott and the Texas legislature are stepping into that gap. And let me tell you, we will not give up. Texans are no stranger to being put under pressure, to having to stand up for what we believe in. And this is our moment. Governor Abbott is supported by Republican governors from across this country, many of whom are sending troops here to help us. The real heroes are the DPS officers in the Texas National Guard who are serving every day away from their families to make sure that Texans and every American are safe. And the legislators behind me are ready to give the governor the tools and the resources and the funding that he needs to keep this fight going. This is the number one issue, not just to my district, not just to this state, but to Americans across the country. And so to every American out there, Texas has your back. Governor Abbott has your back, and Governor Abbott is doing the job that President Biden refuses to do, and we will never give up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And a big thank you to all these members of the Texas legislature. Texas would not be in a position to do what we're doing without them and the laws they passed, the efforts they've undertaken. And so I thank all of you all very much for what you've done, for being here, and what we will continue to do. With that, we'll take a few questions.
Governor, the presser that we were sent, he talked about an announcement. What was the announcement? Have we already heard that announcement, or is there something else that you would like to add to, the importance of being here with all of us here?
Well, for one, the importance of the people who join me today is the fact is the wire that you see preventing illegal entry, the Connex boxes that you see, the soldiers that you see, the Texas Department of Public Safety that you see, none of that would be here but for the people who stand with me today. As far as future announcements, listen, we being my office, we're working with the Texas National Guard on strategies to make sure that we're going to find ways that we will be able to both add and accommodate more soldiers being deployed in this area. And more details will be provided in the future.
At what point, Governor, would you be willing? You're a Christian person. A lot of people, even Democrats are Christian, something like that. So, without going too deep into religion, there will be a moment where you be willing to sit down and have a conversation at least with the opposite side as to you meet me here, I'll meet you there. Is there a possibility of that?
So let's be clear about two things. One is I've attempted that. I have provided 8 letters to President Biden and his administration asking for certain actions. I've received exactly 0 response. One of those letters I handed to him personally, to his hand. It was a single page. It was not complicated, and it explained exactly what needed to be done in order to secure the border. At that same meeting, I handed the exact same letter to Secretary Mayorkas, who said that he would work with us. And of course, he has not. So the Biden administration has done nothing to work with us, despite me reaching out on 8 different times. That said, there is a key factor that we insist on, and that is the beginning of our discussions starts with the enforcement of the rule of law. There are laws on the books as we speak right now that don't need to be added, that don't need to be changed, that do 2 things. It denies illegal entry into the United States of America, and it requires the president, the executive branch, to detain them if they do get in illegally. Those 2 laws are not being followed. Negotiations begin once the Biden administration starts enforcing the laws.
Governor, is there any plans right
I'll
now?
get you both.
Governor, is there any plans right now from the state of Texas to expand similar operations that you are seeing here in Shelby Park? I know you are touting the success in the plumbing of the legal process. Or any plans right now to expand similar operations where Texas officials will seize control of certain parts of the border right now?
So yes, we are working on expansion plans to expand the successful operations that we've seen in certain locations that deter illegal immigration. And some of those will be announced after they occur. Others will be announced beforehand. But just know this, and that is the National Guard is relentless. On a daily basis, they're adding more razor wire barrier, more anti-climb barrier, more other ways to repel people from trying to enter illegally. And I got to emphasize this, and that is in doing so, there's actually been a dramatic reduction in drownings in the river by more than 50%. If people are enticed to cross a treacherous river, they will cross that river and some will lose their lives. One thing we know for a fact, right behind you is a bridge that people are walking across as we speak. No one drowns on a bridge. No one gets cut by razor wire on a bridge. If people tried to enter the country through the pathway created by Congress as the pathway into the country, lives would be saved.
And with the Biden administration right now is weighing the decision whether to pursue legal action regarding the operations here in Shelby Park. Whether the Biden administration pursues a legal action, would that affect any decision made by Texas officials?
So I actually hope the Biden administration takes legal action about this area, because I want to make one thing perfectly clear. One reason why this area is occupied by the state of Texas is to prevent the Biden administration from any further violation of federal law on this Texas land. They are violating 2 laws required by Congress. Congress requires the federal government to deny illegal entry. The Biden administration used this park to aid illegal entry into our country. And then secondly, you saw the masses, the thousands that they allowed together in this park for processing and then to be sent elsewhere in the United States. That's mass parole. Congress has specifically prohibited mass parole into the United States. What Texas is doing right now is we are the ones actually enforcing laws passed by Congress. Biden is breaking those laws. And we look forward to our day in court where we are able to tell America the way that Joe Biden is violating the laws that are on the books by
Okay, just for a second here, I want to, well, we will get back to this. There's a little 30-minute clip I want to show. Just watch this.
Tucker's going to be the VP, would you be surprised? Would you say, why would he choose him?
You think that's coming?
I think an alliance was built 6 months ago. And
What?
when I made the $100 million offer to Tucker and he turned it down and went to Twitter with Elon. You know what he said to me? This is
What?
how I took it. I took it as Elon's retweet is worth more than my 100 million. So then I saw the alliance being built with him, Elon, and Tucker. It was either Tucker's going to run in 2028, but Tucker's going to help Trump for 2024, or Tucker's going to be the VP. If Trump announced that Tucker's going to be the VP, would you be surprised? Would you say, why would he choose him?
You think that's coming?
I think an alliance was built 6 months ago. And
What?
when I made the $100 million offer to Tucker and he turned it down and went to Twitter with Elon, you know what he said to me? This is
What?
how I took it. I took it as Elon's retweet is worth more than my 100 million. So then I saw the alliance being built with him, Elon, and Tucker. It was either Tucker's going to run in 2028, but Tucker's going to help Trump for 2024, or Tucker's going to be the VP. If Trump announced that Tucker's going to be the VP, would you be surprised? Would you say, why would he choose him?
You think that's coming?
I think an alliance was built 6 months ago. And
What?
when I made the $100 million offer to Tucker and he turned it down and went to Twitter.
Congress right now. Get her. I told her I'd come to her. I'll come back to you here in a second.
We heard several concerns from people who spoke today, as well as yourself, about what and who is coming across the border. There's also been concerns as well as questions about a Venezuelan gang called Fin de Aragua. Do we know if anyone that has been apprehended in Texas has been part of that gang?
So in that gang in particular, I don't have information about that, and I know that DPS would be able to get you that answer specifically. However, I do want to tell you this. We know that DPS is arresting dangerous gang members all the time, including they arrested a MS-13 gang member who was on the terrorist watch list. And we know that there are terrorists and people on the terrorist watch list who seek to cross the border all the time. Under Joe Biden's tenure, there's been an all-time record number of people on the terrorist watch list who were apprehended. But here's the key fact. If you're on the terrorist watch list, they're going to pay extra money to the cartels to not be apprehended. What Joe Biden does not know, what the FBI does not know, is the number of people on the terrorist watch list who were able to evade detection, enter the United States illegally, and are moving around the country with the potential to cause catastrophic harm.
Last question.
So the next steps is to I'm working with the National Guard on plans as we speak right now to expand the National Guard effort along the border region. We're going to work on strategies to ensure the capabilities of the National Guard to add more soldiers, more resources, more capabilities, so they can be even more successful.
Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Bet. All right. See you soon.
Yes.
Of course. Of course.
Yes, Brandon Bear, it did go through. Thank you, love. Okay, that's all of that. I played this before with Ted Cruz, but this was a while back. Just listen to this. I'm going to replay it.
We are witnessing an absolute travesty unfolding on our southern border. On Monday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, the highest level in history. On Tuesday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, again, the highest level in history. There are right now, where we're standing, more than 22,000 people camped just south of the border. getting ready to come across. Just in this location, in less than a month, we've had over 35,000 Venezuelans cross illegally just right here, not counting the whole rest of the border. Every day, just right here, they're encountering 90 to 100 Chinese nationals. Now, for anyone that doesn't have their globe nearby, China is not immediately to the south of the United States. But 90 to 100 a day are crossing illegally on this border, being smuggled in by Mexican drug cartels. And I have to say, I am angry because this is deliberate. This is a decision that was made by President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and congressional Democrats to open up the border to what is nothing less than an invasion. Ask yourself, why is President Biden not here? Why is Kamala Harris not here? Why is Elizabeth Warren not here? Why is AOC? She still owns the white pantsuit. Why is she not here with her head buried in her hands? Because they don't give a damn about the dead bodies. 6 weeks ago, I asked Secretary Mayorkas how many migrants died in the past year crossing illegally. He said, I don't know. The number's 853. But he can't be bothered to worry about that. I asked him how many women have been sexually assaulted in the last year by human traffickers. He said, I don't know. Because the administration can't be bothered by that. I asked how many children have been physically and sexually assaulted. Again, I don't know. We're witnessing modern day slavery. And maddeningly, what the Biden administration has decided is they want more. Title 42 is expiring today, and you know what happens tomorrow? Those numbers go up. This is an invasion, and they want the numbers to go up. Let me say to the men and women from the Border Patrol who are heroes, they are extraordinary heroes, and we're down here to tell them thank you, to tell them we love you, to tell them we got your back, even as your political superiors are making it impossible for you to do your job. The Biden administration is really proud now that they have apps on their phone, that when someone crosses illegally, they can fill out an application in 2 minutes. This is the Amazon version of illegal immigration. They're going to make it fast and deliver them anywhere in the country. We've seen 6.5 million people cross illegally since Joe Biden became president, and the administration wants 6.5 million to be 10 million, to be 12 million, to be 15 million, to be 20 million. And the body bags that pile up, they can't be bothered to worry about. I'll tell you, the great state of Texas is on the front lines. The volume is overwhelming. It's got to stop.
We're living to survive.
Israel. And one of the things I love about Israel, in addition to the fact it's beautiful and great food, took my kids there on vacation, is I like the Israelis. What do I like about the Israelis? They're proud of themselves and their country. I like that. I like secure people. But I don't know a single Israeli, and I say this as a compliment from my heart, I don't know a single Israeli who would jeopardize his own country's economy or safety for another nation. Because they care about their nation. Like, what the hell? I'm saying this as a compliment. But why would we do that? And when I see leaders on the left and right call for refugees from Gaza to be imported here, they're too dangerous for other countries, but we should take them? What are you saying? What are you saying about how you feel about my country? You're saying you consider it a trash bin. Throw the refuse there. No one else wants to deal with it. America will deal with it. Well, how about no? No one's going to call me anti-Israel.
They took some cash from China, then smoked crack with a miner. Joe's memories declining, the Biden family. Old Hunter is a sleazebag, took bribes from Chairman G.I. Shot movies of his wiener, the Biden family.
I can go 200 miles an hour.
Burisma. They took some cash from China, then smoked crack with a miner. Joe's memories declining, the Biden family. Old Hunter is a sleazebag, took bribes from Chairman G.I. Shot movies of his wiener, the Biden family.
I can go 200 miles an hour.
Burisma.
Star Mama, it cracks me up, dude.
Grabbed by the pussy than have a pussy for president.
Do you agree with what she has to say?
And go you,
Listen.
go you, go you.
And you're happy with that language?
I'm very happy with that language. Look, none of us are that polite behind closed doors. My girlfriends have ruder language. I would rather be grabbed by the pussy than have a pussy for president.
Do you agree with what she has to say?
And go you,
Listen.
go you, go you.
And you're happy with that language?
I'm very happy with that language. Look, none of us are that polite behind closed doors. My girlfriends have ruder language. I would rather
Trump, you are known for your terrible haircut, and now I can see why. Your hair sucks. You look like Justin Bieber caught on fire.
What's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald J. Trump's hair? A wet raccoon doesn't have $7 billion fucking dollars in the bank.
Donald Trump, you are known for your terrible haircut, and now I can see why. Your hair sucks. You look like Justin Bieber caught on fire.
What's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald J. Trump's hair? A wet raccoon doesn't have $7 billion fucking dollars in the bank. I don't need anything. I don't need campaign contributions. I don't need lobbyists. I don't need special interests helping me. The only thing I need is to do what's right for the country. That's all. I don't need money. I don't need anything. I don't need campaign contributions. I don't need lobbyists. I don't need special interests helping me. The only thing I need is to do what's right for the country. That's all. I don't need money. I don't need anything. I don't need campaign contributions. I don't need lobbyists. I don't need special interests helping me. The only thing I need is to do what's right for the country. That's all. I don't need money. I don't need anything. I don't need campaign contributions.
Just bear with me, y'all. I'm just trying to find some things here. Running Bear, they arrest them and they take them to this place and they give them a court date, and the court dates are like 2 years in the future, and yeah, it's just fucked up, man. No, they leave them in America, Running Bear. We're gonna get into some of that stuff here. Yeah, it's crazy. See, there was just something. I got so much stuff I'm trying to get here. Let's see here. Because we can let Biden. Just a second. Hey Jay, hey love, you're good. I started early actually because there was a live presser with Governor Greg Abbott. Oh, absolutely. We're just going through a little shorts here for a second, then we're getting ready to get into the good stuff. You can absolutely come up. I just got a couple more things here that I want to show. Okay, let's see.
a very interesting man. I remember there was a time where I was like, Trump's bad, he's racist. I succumbed to like the mass media of what they claimed he was. And I remember I hadn't spoke to Andrew for a while. So we jump on the phone. Do we get into some sort of politics? He's like to me, yo, what's your opinion on Trump? And I'm like, this guy, man, I don't really rate him. Bro, I'm like, he's a racist. Like, and he sticks up for the Ku Klux Klan and all this other stuff. He's like, show me where he said that. So I'm searching now. I go online. I'm looking. Can't find a single article, a single video. You can find articles of them claiming he states these things. I couldn't find a single video of him actually saying it. So I'm like, where did they get this from then? It's easy. They just make it up. You believed it. And I started thinking, pulled up like 6 videos back to back of him on the news. No, I do not support the KKK. They're talking about equality and talking about making sure that the black community, the unemployment drops down, which he did. He actually done everything he said. Like he said in that video, done 0 wars. And I sat there, I was like, man, I actually got played by the media. Trump's a very interesting man. I remember there was a time where I was like, Trump's bad, he's racist. I succumbed to like the mass media of what they claimed he was. And I remember I hadn't spoke to Andrew.
Okay, this next little one I'm just playing little shorts here, but it just shows, fucking the media. I might get a strike for this one, you'll see why, but this guy impersonates Trump, and just watch this, and then we'll get on with the real show.
Speeches. For real though, it was my favorite speech I've ever seen a president give. It was the night the United States killed the leader of ISIS. Trump comes out of the Situation Room at like midnight in the White House, and he walks down that fucking tunnel like and gives a press conference, like he's giving a post-game NBA just killed a guy press conference. He walks up in front of the entire world at midnight and just goes, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He died like a dog. I didn't change one word of that. That's what he opened with. And then he did 40 minutes. The speech is 40 minutes for no reason. It wasn't a prepared speech. He freestyled 40 straight. Not even a speech, just mean shit talk for 40. The meanest shit talk you've ever heard in front of the whole world. Abu, we can hear him crying. I said, Abu, don't cry. Let me tell you something. Abu cried. He cried quite a bit. I wouldn't have cried. Cry baby Baghdadi. That's what we were all calling it. I miss the Trump speeches. For real though, it was my favorite speech I've ever seen a president give. It was the night.
Yeah, that cracked me the fuck up. Yeah, I might get struck for that or something. He sounds just like Trump. I love it. Jay, it's funny. Yeah, he cracks me up. All right. Trump is a goat. Let's see here. Just a second, y'all. Okay, okay. Okay, anyone is welcome to come up and talk with us on this. Here, Jay, I'm gonna drop this StreamYard link here. And anyone is welcome to come up. Yeah, Chicken Lady, his speeches are, the Wet Raccoon one is just, that's one of my favorites. Let me pin this. I'd love to have Jay, I love you, but more people up here and hear different opinions. And we are going to watch some JLR because he has been doing amazing. Yeah, they get treated better than we do. And the kids, man, the kids. Hold on, this here. Hold on. One more thing. You can still come up, Jay. I played this earlier. We're going to play this song again. And it just fits this. I was going to wait and play it on here. So this is why I don't like being silenced or being monetized or anything. One more time here on this, because this is just share. Hey there, handsome.
Hey KKB, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. I'm talking politics and everything, and I love it.
That's great. It's nice to be able to actually talk, my own politics with someone who kind of sees it the way I do, because I feel like most of the people on YouTube are like ultra left, and if I mention about not being happy with mass immigration, I just get called a racist. You know what I mean?
Right. And like people's
But
like,
I am
oh,
an
don't do
immigrant. You know what I
politics.
mean?
You're gonna lose followers if you do politics. I don't care.
Exactly.
Bye. It's my channel. It's what I want to talk about. It's what I'm passionate about. And more people need to talk about this.
100%.
And that's why it's as bad as it is. And I'm so glad JLR is there,
Absolutely, and I mean, I think that, have you heard about what Mayor Adams has been talking about doing in New York City?
Yeah, I got some stuff. We're gonna go over that.
Yeah, I won't go into
I got
it.
some
So
video saved, and like I've had this stuff saved for a week, whatever. And I want to play this song real quick that we listened to earlier, because it's
sure.
just like, sorry, I love music and I love this song. It's so powerful. Chicken Lady wants to know where you're from, Jay. She loves your voice.
Coburn, Ireland, but I grew up like in Lancashire in England, so near Liverpool and Manchester.
Where do you live now?
I live in PA.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, I thought you lived still over there, and I was like, you're
No.
like, no, I'm in Pennsylvania, Cotton. It's like, okay,
Sure.
here we go. And then we're going to get on with the show.
Let's go. The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate. Separate and segregate, don't celebrate quite yet. The storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country. And our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight. Pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on the streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour, troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
Oh, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objectives, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Nah, drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
Oh, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. Oh, we need you now. One day, one day, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Very deep song.
I mean, if you really just listen to it, you know, and it's for the kids, you know, it's like.
I like it because it reminds me of like Irish rebel songs because they tell a story almost, you know what I mean? But this is like a current thing, so it's obviously like a country song, but you know, it's the same kind of like folk style, but with a real message, you know what I mean? It's not like some dumb
And like
folk
Struggle
song.
Jennings, you know, it couldn't have been a better guy to do it, you know, just his and he, you know, he's like, you know, I'll take care of all this and then ask for forgiveness later, you know what I mean? And it's like
Exactly, you know what I mean? I mean, I
Mhm.
don't have any sympathy for like abusers or anything like that. It's like that guy who got arrested recently for shooting the sex offender in Texas. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, give the guy a medal. You know what I mean? Like, I was seeing that in the
Right.
comments more than anything else. And
But
I
when it
think
comes to, you know, child rapists and stuff, that's a totally different ball game.
absolutely, you
and
know what I mean? Exactly.
You know, and he was like, why is all these children get molested and nothing's getting done.
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like it makes you. At least there's someone in the entertainment business who's actually speaking about it in art form, because all the mainstream artists are too freaking scared.
And that's
to.
actually kind of ballsy. You know what I mean? It's like
Very ballsy, like really ballsy, because it's biting the hand that feeds you, essentially.
But I think his family, his background of his family helps him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, protects him almost because of it, that
Because like
level
Waylon
of.
Jennings is his grandfather, you know, then Chicken Lady said it's Shooter's son. No, Shooter is his uncle, is Struggle's uncle. And then, you know, Waylon Jennings, it's like, you know, there's history there, you know.
Yeah, I'm familiar with quite a lot of country stars, Waylon Jennings and
then you look at Struggle though, and you wouldn't think that was his grandson, you know what I'm saying? And he just
Yeah. What do you think of Elle King and what she did? You know, as a Southerner, do you find it kind of like offensive, the fact that like she like puts on this whole Southern accent and kind of like
Who?
hijacks your Elle King, you know?
I don't know who
You know
that
her?
is, do I? No, I don't know, maybe. I'm a
No,
little
she's.
stoned right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Same here. I was asleep just like before I came on.
I started way early because there was a live press conference, you know, and I'm like, shit, Jay. Jade It Right it's an amazing song. It's really powerful, and I love it. I just love it. And then Ron Upchurch was dating his daughter, Brianna. That didn't last long, but
They're all a family, the country music people, aren't they?
well, yeah, kind of like Ron Upchurch and Tom McDonald's like going at it. But that's part of it, you know. It's part of the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand that. I mean, it's kind of like soul and blues musicians. Like the music itself is considered to be very like mellow, but the people who make it are very much not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like Tom McDonald was talking about kind of dissing, you know, like Upchurch music or whatever, and like Tom McDonald has only had one like hit song that hit millions, you know. And if you go look at Upchurch, he's got hundreds with millions,
Yeah.
or you know, it's like no, come on, they're jealous of the independent.
It's not easy to reach that, you know what I mean? Especially being in like an independent and also it being that specific genre of music that, you know.
Yeah, rap, hip hop, or country rap, and
it's very specific.
I mean, Upchurch ain't fucking successful for nothing, you know what I mean? And I don't blame him for staying independent. You ain't
I
got
would.
nobody tell you what to do with your money. Nothing.
I would,
You don't
yeah,
give
I
nobody
mean-
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's like you sound with like a majors, and like it's always like your first album you make fuck all off, and that's usually the album that sells the most for bands, you know. It's
You
like
know, like Upchurch, I think he's like on Apple Music and stuff like that, you know, and it works for him. And he's happy. He's humble.
absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah. If the deals you sign with Spotify and Apple, if you're getting enough plays, it'll do
yeah,
you
he's got all
fine.
that. He's got Spotify. He's on all that. And then YouTube, you know, of course. And
The tours would be where he makes the most money, though.
where?
The tours and the merchandise, that's where you make the most cash.
Mm-hmm.
Does he
He's
tour
got it
very
going
much?
on. Huh?
Does he tour a lot, or
What do you mean?
like does he go like on tour on the road a lot?
Not really, not really. But in April, he is doing like little local, like he's coming to Florida, you know, to put on a show. He don't really tour,
Right.
but he'll do like, you know, it's not a tour show like somebody Taylor Swift to put on, but it's just like a little, you know, and they sell out.
Yeah,
Like
like
he's
it's like
coming to
a short
Georgia
run of
and
shows, yeah.
yeah, just kind of like a meet and greet, but you know.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
But yeah,
right,
the
let's
whole
get.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna be like, yeah, the whole situation at the border, yeah. It's pretty intense. It's like, I mean, for me personally, I think I was saying in your live earlier, it's like it annoys me a lot because I went through a lot to actually come in legally, and then there's people who like just walk in illegally and get handed
get
a lot more than I ever
more
got given.
benefits than I was born and raised in America, you know, and
Exactly,
they got
yeah.
more than me.
Exactly. I
Okay,
wish
do you
I had
want
a
to start with the
prepaid
border stuff
card.
first or the New York stuff first?
We can talk about the New York if you like. You know, it
Okay.
is your channel, but like
Oh yeah, I got a
you know,
whole playlist here, but this is kind of old stuff, you know, because I was sick, but it's stuff that we need to. Let's see here. Where's that? Here we go. We're getting there. Because, you know, they were sending a lot of them to New York. They were
yeah,
kicking veterans out of the hotel to house illegals.
kicking veterans out of hotels, kicking old
In
people
New
out of
York,
old people
homeless
homes.
veterans
Yeah,
kicked them out for, yeah.
yeah, exactly. For not even basically for literal criminals because they broke the law. They came in illegally, you know. So, what the hell?
Right.
What kind of message does that send to these people? It says, "Come in wherever you are in the
Right.
world. Come in and come in illegally, and we'll give you a lot more than if you try to come in legally." So,
But let us go into their country and they're going to shoot us.
oh yeah. No, that's a fact. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's like certain places in like Africa and Asia or in South America. If we went there as gringos or whatever they want to call us there, we're done. You know what I mean? We're
Mhm.
done. You know,
Right.
it's like farmers in South Africa and Zimbabwe as well. Like to be a farmer around there, like a white farmer of European descent, it's like the most dangerous shit in the world. You know what I mean? And
It is.
and the politicians are like really stoke the flames because it's like they use that to, you know, distract the people from the fact that they take all this money that the US,
Mhm.
UK, UN sends them. Instead of giving it to the people, they keep it for themselves, and then they use
And we've never had a president that would stand up to that
oh,
until
absolutely
Trump.
no, exactly.
You know?
And as much as you know, there's some things I disagree with in terms of the gun regulations that he brought in. The fact of the matter is, the basic level of stuff that he did was far better than any other president I've ever seen.
I would
You know what I
rather
mean?
guns be legal because if you take guns away, that's when it's going to get messy. Because if a criminal or whatever wants a gun, they're going to get it.
I
Just
agree.
like if
I
an
agree.
addict wants drugs, you know?
I agree.
And
It
that's
was
when
just
shit gets bad.
yeah, it was just some of the gun regulation that he brought in terms of background checks that I don't agree with because in background checks. I think that I understand why he did it because he was under pressure. I
Who was
get
that
it.
one? There was a kid. I can't remember who it was. Was it the Nashville school shooting? That girl?
Yeah. Who used
She
the
had a clear
22?
record and everything and went and
Yeah.
bought them guns. And I just want to answer Chicken Lady here.
Sorry.
Chicken Lady, no, you're fine. Ron Upchurch has a German Shepherd named Waylon. I just thought I'd let you know that. So I left it up there. I'm a huge Upchurch fan. I love him. Okay, let's watch some of this that's going on in New York City first. Hold on here. I've got all kinds of stuff we can. Where's that at? What am I doing here? Shit. 1 second.
A disturbing crime caught on camera showing a group of people punching and kicking two NYPD officers in Times Square over the weekend.
Now, law enforcement officials say that these men were migrants. These are supposed asylum seekers. And police say if they were brazen enough to attack two uniformed officers, there's no telling what they'd be willing to do to the average citizen. And the city allowed them to go free.
You saw the video. Reprehensible. Cowards.
The NYPD reacting to surveillance video taken from West 42nd Street in Times Square around 8:30 Saturday night. Police say a group of up to 12 men was being disorderly. Two officers told them to move along. The gang looks like they're going to comply, but when the officers try to take one uncooperative man in a yellow shirt into custody, around 7 others surround them, punching and kicking the officers in the head and in the body while they are on the ground.
First, for our cops, I'm proud of what they try to do. They stayed in the fight, but 8-on-2 is hard to combat. They got bumps, bruises, and scratches and pain.
Eventually, officers were able to find and arrest 4 of the gang. A 5th was arrested Monday. But once cops brought them in, bail reform laws allowed them to go free, something that most likely wouldn't have happened in their home countries, according to the NYPD.
Again, consequences for your actions. They should be sitting in Rikers. They should have been indicted this week and have their day in court and go to jail.
Police sources add that it's the gang of 19 to 24-year-olds who barely just arrived in the city and may have been staying at the nearby migrant shelters in Times Square. Some have reportedly already racked up charges for assault and robbery, but were released then too. If those arrested for this assault on police do come back on their own recognizance, they face felony charges that carry a penalty of up to 7 years.
You want to know why our cops are getting assaulted? There's no consequences. And we must change this. End of story.
In a statement, the Police Benevolent Association writing, attacks on police officers are becoming an epidemic. And the reason is the revolving door we're seeing in cases like this one. It is impossible for police officers to deal effectively with crime and disorder if the justice system can't or won't protect us while we do that work.
We're still getting thousands of migrants and asylums who are coming here. And so we want to give clear messages on what's expected. The overwhelming number of people who are there, they want to take the next step in their American dream. But you do have a numerical minority that we want to give clarity to, that you can't come into our systems and be disruptive and in the neighborhoods.
More than 80% of New Yorkers say that the recent migrant influx is a serious problem.
When migrants first came to sanctuary cities, Democrats rolled out the red carpet. They pitched them wedding tents, filled them with recliners, popcorn machines, Xboxes. Leaders of sanctuary cities campaigned on the issue and boasted about all the illegals they'd let in.
Protect our immigrants during the COVID, our immigrant stay. They provided a service for the city, and I believe we need to continue to make sure this is a sanctuary city.
But house guests can only stay for so long before getting on your nerves. The migrants are now causing trouble in the communities that were forced to take them in.
Less than half an hour, curfews will go into effect in the city.
It's official. The city implementing a 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew at 4 migrant shelters across the city.
Dozens of migrants refusing to leave this hotel in Midtown Manhattan. This Venezuelan man saying he's tired and cold, questioning if this is the harsh reality of the American dream.
In New York City, where officials tell us resources are overwhelmed. Across public hospitals in New York City over the last year, nearly 30,000 visits by migrants and 300 new babies born to migrant moms. Staff here at Bellevue Hospital tell us they're eager to help, but the numbers are tough.
This has been the hardest work that I've ever done, but it's been the most impactful work that I've ever done.
And most of the visits to the taxpayer-funded legal clinic here are by migrants.
Our clinics are full, and there are waiting lists, and people are turning people away or referring them to other places.
Randy Redkin from New York's Legal Assistance Group says so many migrants are asking for legal help on asylum representation and healthcare access. Now, she says, American citizens who need legal assistance with issues like eviction and insurance have to wait up to 10 weeks.
If you ask me Do we need more resources for legal services? I would say absolutely yes.
Parents in Brooklyn outraged after the city decided to use their kids' school to house migrants who had to be evacuated from the Floyd Bennett field.
What happened last night at Madison High School is a perfect example of what not to do. These kids and their families were punished for the failure of Joe Biden to secure our border. It is unacceptable that our schools have to accept migrants and cancel school for students who are supposed to go to school and learn every single day. Look, I think this is on the mayor's administration. I think that they've opened up the door and really rolled out the red carpet for illegal immigration here when they said, we're welcoming all immigrants, and we do welcome immigrants, but you have to do that legally. And now that they've done this, they have to come up with a plan that doesn't affect our local students, our families, our residents, our constituents, New Yorkers. This is not sustainable. It's unacceptable. We're about to spend $12 billion on this crisis.
So because of the cold weather, there's been a lot of attention on migrant families who are being evicted from local shelters after 60 days.
Exactly, Stephen, Teresa. As everyone knows, it has been freezing out here, and this new policy that evicts migrant families with children after 60 days has been in place for almost 2 weeks. Now, behind me, you can see the Roosevelt Hotel. This has been serving as a welcome center for newly arriving migrants, and now the reticketing center for migrant families with eviction notices.
Our mayor is a slumlord.
City council members and immigration advocates blasting Mayor Eric Adams and his administration for implementing a policy that evicts migrant families with children after 60 days. If these families cannot find their own housing within that time, they have to return to the Roosevelt Hotel and reapply for shelter. While a similar policy for single adult migrants has been in place for several months, this new recent policy change that now impacts migrant families with children has many, including the city council speaker, pushing back against the mayor.
I urge the mayor to abandon this counterproductive and cruel tactic, and instead pursue more sound management.
Last week, the administration amended this policy so that pregnant migrants in their third trimester and women with newborn babies will not receive eviction notices until their babies turn 6 months old. In response to the rally, the Adams administration says they've had to make these drastic policy decisions because they are out of room and resources to care for such a large number of migrants, calling again for a federal solution. More than 170,000 migrants have received care since the spring of 2022, and 68,000 migrants are currently being housed by the city. Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala disagreed with the mayor that the city is out of room.
I've been in meetings where I have been told directly that one of the motives for this policy is really to make people uncomfortable enough. So I don't believe that the mayor is being honest.
Advocates also say that moving kids around to different shelters disrupts their education, with some kids being forced to bounce around to different schools.
They have not been getting all the help this administration claims they've been giving them. These human beings are being moved from shelter to shelter. Shelter staff have lost their mail and say that since they moved, they had to return their mail to sender. These are life-changing documents.
Now, according to a recent Siena College poll that came out this morning, more than 80% of New Yorkers say that the recent migrant influx is a serious problem.
What they're doing is they're ringing doorbells. They rang my doorbell, and my girlfriend answered, and they stuck a government-paid telephone right in the face. They're already pre-programmed in English, and it said, can I have some money? And she turned them away. There was 2 little children with them. They're going door to door. They went into Marine Park during the Christmas holidays at night. And the neighbors were concerned. They were scared. They were coming in through the side doors, ringing doorbells, asking for food, asking for money. Just this week, they stole one woman's laundry in front of her house. They're getting free Metro cards, so they take the bus into Kings Plaza to the shopping center, and they're robbing stores inside there. They're panhandling in the middle of the street. It's madness.
I mean, we feel bad for anybody that can't put food on the table when they have young kids or can't wear a warm coat in the wintertime. But I mean, this is enough. I mean, we have enough panhandlers as it is that are American citizens. We have enough thieves as it is. I mean, they're obviously, the city is full. It's full. There's no jobs. I thought they were coming here to work. There's no jobs here?
No, there's nothing available. There's 1,700 migrants in the Floyd Bennett fields with nothing to do. They're freezing to death in there. They have to leave their bunker area in order to wash up and take care of their needs. The children are not being schooled. It's a horrifying situation. It's only going to get worse.
Are you giving them any money, or what do you think? Does that just encourage more panhandling?
No, it doesn't make a difference. They're not going to stop. They're very incessant with what they're doing, and I don't see an end to this situation. I don't.
Do you blame Mayor Eric Adams? Because I mean, he's just handling the wave that Biden let in.
He is. He's asked the federal government for help, and it's funny that he went to a Democratic mayor who went to a Democratic president 10 times and was shown the door 10 times.
And by the way, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she wants to give New York City an additional $2.4 billion to help manage the massive influx of migrants that they've seen in that city. $1.9 billion would be included in the governor's 2025 budget proposal, with an additional $500 million coming from the state's rainy day fund. New York City believes the cost of providing food, housing, medical care, you name it, for all of these migrants could reach $10 to $12 billion by next year. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is calling for nearly $2.5 billion in migrant aid in her state's latest budget proposal. That's roughly 1% of the entire state budget for New York. What does that tell you? And what should it tell us who are watching at home about how much needs to be spent in actual border states, the Texases, the Arizonas, the Californias of the world, to try to bring the migrant crisis under control?
It's extremely disappointing that she's doing this, because all that does is offers more free aid to people that cross our borders illegally. And the more free aid that you offer, the more people are going to come. So she's asking for a couple $1 billion right now. Then next year she asks for another couple $1 billion, because the problem doesn't end at the border.
But do you think that actually helps Republicans? Do you think her saying, hey, even New York needs $2.5 billion, is that helpful in Republicans' fight to say, if New York needs $2.5 billion, President Biden, White House, what do you think we need?
No, it doesn't in the effect that we're just throwing money at a problem, that money doesn't solve it. It's policy. If the Republicans jumped on this and said, hey, Kathy, give us the policy, and then you won't have to worry about this $2.1 billion, that's what we need. So we don't have to throw money at it. We have to have policy. And that's what nobody, including Kathy Hochul, is willing to give us. If she gave us policy, she wouldn't have to worry about this issue anymore.
So disgusting how much they're being given,
And they're just talking like it's normal, though. Like, hey, what about Americans here? Where do we fit in this?
Exactly.
What about the homeless veterans?
It's like, why, charity starts at home, and you've got to really have everyone in this country sorted out before you can, even consider accepting people who are, in need, you know what I mean? Needy. In terms of coming in, rather than people who are coming in like me and others with something to contribute, you know what I mean, and offer, whereas I already know the language, and I already know. The thing is, they talk about, Mayor Adams was talking about what should be expected. Who in their right mind would think that kicking a police officer would be okay?
Right? If we done that, we would be in prison for the rest of our life,
Yeah. And they're being treated with kid gloves.
And begging people for money and stuff. I'd be in jail.
Exactly. Panhandling's a crime, you know what I mean, in most places.
And then, harassing people and
stealing things from people and all this stuff. And they don't even mention the other stuff, where a lot of them are stalking.
Did you hear them say, these people
women.
are having babies and the babies are allowed to be there till they're 6 months old, then they're kicked out? It seems like these people are having babies on purpose.
No, they are, because if the child's born there, then the child's a U.S. citizen.
And they can be a citizen, yep.
Yeah. But then it makes it easier for them to stay there. So it's not about the kid, it's about them. They're having it for purely selfish reasons, which is disgusting. And a lot of them, I've heard that this has been done in the UK. A lot of them are saying that they're converting to Christianity so that they can't be sent back to their country because it would be deemed dangerous, or saying that they're gay when they're not. All these things. They shouldn't have these things in place there. Or if you say this, you can stay, because it's they're all going to say it then, aren't they? It's dumb.
It's crazy.
It is. And obviously this is the main thing. She's right in a way. It is going to help Republicans, because this is really going to impact the election, as it did in the last one when Trump got elected. That's what was going on then. And this is what's going on now. You know what I mean? To a great extent. It wasn't so bad in 2020 because he'd been dealing with it. You know what I mean? So people kind of forgot about what a problem it is, you know what I mean? But now people have been reminded, you know what I mean, about the reality of it.
Yep, I agree. Let me see here. I'm going to show you something here if I can find it. I hate having two channels because I don't know what's on what, you know what I mean? Let's see, where's that at? got it somewhere. Maybe it's.
Are you going to watch the Tucker Carlson Vladimir Putin interview?
I'll have to see if I have that. If not, we will. There's a couple more things on the New York stuff, and yeah, whatever you want to watch. I got a whole
Oh
list.
no, I was just asking if you had seen it, you were going to see it. You know what I mean?
No, but I would like to.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think that
I
would
like
be
seeing everything. You know what I mean? I want to see it all.
all sides. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
same. Because I don't personally, I don't think that he is really as bad as they say he is. You know what I mean? Like I think he doesn't want World War III because he'd be stupid because he'd lose.
Mm-hmm.
He's already been pushed to the limit against the tiny country compared to Russia like Ukraine. So imagine that against the United States, UK, Australia, Japan, and like South Korea and all the other allies and stuff, and France. And like it just wouldn't be an all of Europe, basically. It would just be not feasible. He's not an idiot, you know what I mean? You don't get to that position by being dumb, you know. Because he's ex KGB, so he knows how to do these things. He knows what he's trained in how to deal with people, Westerners. You know what I mean? People in America, how to, he's a very clever guy. You know what I mean? I bet he's got a lot of secrets.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to play this real quick. This is off topic. This is something that really gets to me. It shows, it's gut wrenching, and this has been. I posted this 9 months ago, but it just it's for the kids. Here, let me get it. I'll squirrel off. You know me, Jay. This is very, trigger warning.
I took my son to the zoo today. And you know what he said to me? He goes, Dada, animals don't belong in cages. They need to roam free.
That's kids in cages.
And I looked at him. I said, oh, baby, don't worry about it. Those aren't animals. Those are just immigrants. I think that's what you call them, the governor of Texas. I think he just referred to them as immigrants. Nobody cares about them. Soon, they'll be sex trafficked. Soon, they'll be sold for slavery. Who knows? Maybe we'll even just use them for body parts. But it doesn't matter because, unlike yourself, they're in. Now,
look at them kids back there, y'all.
But you can't tell anybody about this picture, son, because this is secret documents that Daddy's got. This picture is secret documents. Now, I'm thinking that maybe I should share this with Joe Biden. I mean, for all we do know, he is the president of the United States of America. And he should have access into seeing what is happening at our borders. Hundreds of thousands of babies tortured, extorted, trafficked. The last time I looked, and this is not about Joe Biden or Donald Trump, I'm just giving you some facts. The last time I looked, that the left extreme media went apeshit when they found out about a few hundred kids under Donald Trump's watch. This is hundreds of thousands of them under our current administration. I hate seeing this. And more than that is I hate that I'm just one voice and there's nothing I can do about it. Midnight, I'm out.
That's crazy, ain't it?
It is. I think talking about it is doing something, I suppose.
These past month or so, I've seen Texas, and it's really, I love that America's like came together. You know what I mean? The people that's really tired of this shit, and like, the barricades, and like enough's enough. And whenever they Abbott fired Border Patrol and put in National Guard, there was a lady and 2 children that drowned that was crossing because they wouldn't let them through no more, you know? Border Patrol was gone. It was the National Guard now. You ain't getting through. And a woman and 2 kids died. But you know, that woman knew better. Those
Well,
babies were the
exactly.
victims.
You
They
shouldn't
didn't have a
risk.
choice.
Yeah.
That woman knew better. I don't feel sorry for her. It's them
Oh,
babies.
exactly. It's taking. Honestly, the kids wouldn't have died if they were in Mexico. Kids, they're kids. You know that can. Mexico isn't freaking Africa. You know what I mean? It's
Like, there has
pretty
to be some
bad.
family or something left in Mexico you could have left those babies with.
I'm gone your own. I'm absolutely like
Yes.
abuelos and abuelas, the grandparents. You know what I
Because
mean?
everybody's like, oh, it's sad, you know. No, it ain't. What's sad is them babies. They didn't have a choice to
Exactly.
cross that river.
And you shouldn't have taken your kid's freaking life, you know, into a risky situation. You know what I mean? It's
And
reckless.
knowing that Border Patrol was gone, you know, and
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's so bad. It's so bad and it's so divided. You know what I mean? That like people, the idea of Texas seceding is becoming more talked about than it has been since the freaking Civil War. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But I think, you know, Donald Trump believes that because obviously, you know, I think it's their right as a state if they want to secede from the union. If the majority of people in Texas wanted that, then I back that. You know what I mean? But it would be sad to
I'm not
see
from
such an
Texas, but
important
I am
part.
very proud of Texas right now.
Yeah, I am. It would just be sad.
And
It
then
would be
there's
sad
like
to see
14
them
other
go. But
governors. There's like 14 other governors, United States governors, you know, from states that has came down and supported Governor Abbott. And that
yeah,
says a lot.
it does. I mean, it says that, you know, we're on the right side of things. You know what I mean? And at least
Mhm.
some people are recognizing that, you know. And there's
Yeah.
someone you know who's pretty good that you should look into, Lauren Witzke. She ran in Delaware in 2020, and she's like very pro-Trump. But like I think you'd like Lauren Witzke. She talks a lot about like deep state stuff and
Well,
like the
maybe we can
immigrants.
do that on your channel.
Sure.
Yeah. I would like that. You know, you can come up and you can educate me some more. Because like I've never been into politics, never, until Biden got in, and I started seeing it, and I've seen what
Yeah.
Trump done for us. You know,
I
didn't like Trump. I was like,
Yeah.
oh God. Whenever he won, I was like, oh my God, here we fucking go. You know, and then when Biden got in, I'm like, holy shit,
I
Trump is
liked it.
really for America.
Yeah. I liked Trump when he got in because I liked that he wasn't a career politician, and that is
See, I didn't
cool.
really know that. You know, I just knew him from that show he had, and
Yeah, The Apprentice.
I was like, he's getting all this money. Then I realized he didn't want the money. You know, and I got to watching, and you know, I'm 41 years old, never got into politics, and now I'm like obsessed because
Yeah,
I see it.
I've always weirdly been into it, and I've gone through quite a different kind of types of it. Like my parents are pretty well. My dad, what is pretty left wing. My mother's kind of in the center, but my grandparents were always right wing. And like I think I'm more like my grandparents. I think, you know, I describe myself as being libertarian. Like I'm right wing, you know, fiscally, like in terms of economics and stuff. Like I believe in privatized stuff is better, you know what I mean? But in terms of social things like marijuana legalization, I'm for marijuana legalization, like anti-censorship stuff like that, and free speech. I'm all for that. But these days, those things used to be like liberal traits, but because the liberals have become so far left wing, they've become almost communist and socialists. That these
Because I was a
things, free
Democrat,
speech,
you know, and I did vote, and I
yeah,
would vote Democrat just because that's what my state, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what the fuck. And now
exactly.
it's
I
like,
mean,
no,
yeah,
I'm
I
red,
mean,
baby.
yeah, because I grew up in the UK, so like there was always this like it's weird because the conservatives, so like the Republicans in the UK, but I could never vote for them because they're like all like pro the royal family and stuff like that. So a lot of the times I'd vote for like like the Green Party and like different parties like that. Just, you know, because I mean, I love the environment and like I love pot and stuff like that, but some of their ideas like that go against like the family, the nuclear family being important, like I disagree with, you know what I mean? And they're like rampant ideas of regulations I don't agree with either. I think that the less pressure you put on businesses, the better off ordinary people are, because like then they can employ more people can have jobs, you know. And looking at it from a business perspective, like Trump does in terms of economics, is exactly what you need. Biden doesn't have a clue about economics. No one in the Democrat Party has a clue about economics. People on the left generally don't. They think throwing loads of money at things makes it better when it doesn't.
Right.
Creates a massive deficit, and then the state goes bankrupt like New York did in the frickin' 70s, and it will do again if it keeps voting Democrat. And that's why when Rudy Giuliani got in, and he's a Republican, it really changed the state around. Completely changed the state around. And like my dad, who is usually, or if he lived in America, would be a freaking hardcore Democrat. Even he said if he'd have been in New York, he'd have voted for Rudy Giuliani because of what a good job he did. So that says a lot, you know.
Trump's gonna get this.
He'll win, yeah. I think I was doubting it at first, but because of the whole immigrant and migrant situation, I think
And all
he'll
the
win.
court shit that was thrown at him, you know, with the hooker.
Yeah, that's
and all
why I
this.
was doubting it. Yeah,
But look at
now,
this man. He has fought and hung in there and not let it bother him one bit. Everything they have thrown at him, he is stronger and stronger. And I think all this shit they're doing to him, you know, try to get him in prison and shit, is just opening the eyes of the people that never believed in him.
It's helping
I think
him,
it's
yeah.
helping him.
It shows he's got substance and strength.
It's proven his point about the media.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
that they do trial by media, and that, you know, in this country, like nothing he did personally, I don't think he ever broke the law, because what he did, he was right to do, because there was election fraud. There were people, there's always people voting in these elections who were born in freaking 1888 and died in 1945 and shouldn't still be on the electoral register, but for some reason are and always vote Dem. You know what I mean? So, like, what can you draw from that?
And then, you know, they want to get Trump about that hooker or whatever he paid off, you know.
Stormy Daniels,
but
yeah.
Look, Bill Clinton got a blowjob, and I mean, come on,
Yeah.
for real. I mean, why all these years would she just come out? And no, because I think somebody paid her to do that.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Politics is a dirty game. And even if you want to play it safe and clean, the other side will still play dirty.
Let's see here. This is where DeSantis deploys National Guard and stuff from Florida. This is I'm going to let this kind of play through these next couple of videos.
Sure.
Let's see here. I try to go with Fox News because that's Trump's only, you know, they're the truth for him or whatever. And
there's a few other networks that are pretty good. There's the True News are pretty good. They're rather.
I like that Australian one. What is it?
Sky News Australia. Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, I like
right-wing.
that one. Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, it's weird. Like in the UK, they're pretty moderate, but in Australia, they're like really right wing. I don't know why.
All right, here we go. And if you want me to stop and talk about anything, just I would say raise your hand, but just say stop or, you know, or something.
Sure.
Because I like just listening through, you know what I'm saying? And see, if I was monetized, I couldn't do this shit. I couldn't play it. They'd get me.
The situation at the southern border is showing no signs of easing up. Now the state of Florida is stepping up to help stem the flow of migrants into the United States. And that involves sending hundreds of Florida troops to Texas. Our Mark Wilson is here now to explain. So, Mark, bring us up to speed.
Well, it's not the first time he sent folks to Texas. Keep that in mind. Governor DeSantis said today that he's deploying members of the Florida State Guard and the Florida National Guard both to Texas. And the plan now is to help them assist Texas officials to try to get a better handle on the spike in undocumented immigrants right now that are crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. And this, of course, comes as the state of Texas continues to butt heads with the federal government. A dispute that stems from the Supreme Court's recent decision here to allow federal agents to remove razor wire that Texas recently installed along the border. Governor DeSantis argues that the states have the right to defend their borders regardless of what the federal government does, which is why he is sending Florida troops to Texas. And he says specifically sending the State Guard along with the National Guard because he said that's necessary for sovereignty. He says today that the federal government would have no control over our State Guard troops, unlike National Guard troops. Still, one state lawmaker slams the move, calling it a stunt, questioning the governor's focus following his run for president.
If Texas is helping to erect barriers, putting up razor wire, doing other things to keep illegal aliens out, I want to be helpful with them doing that. I don't want to be part of the federal government trying to tear down these barriers and let more people in illegally.
We should not be sending them to the border because this is not their job. This is not for Florida to get involved in, and we certainly have plenty of crises to deal with here at home.
So many did.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. Let me go back a little bit here on that.
The thing is, they'll pour into Florida, so it's nipping the problem before it gets to the place, you know what I mean? So it's forward thinking, it's good.
I'm not a DeSantis fan, but I'm proud of him for doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But listen to what this lady says.
People in illegally.
We should not be sending them to the border because this is not their job.
It's not their job. As America, yes, it is. It is our job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is not for Florida to get involved in, and we certainly have plenty of crises to deal with here at home.
So many didn't even really know about the State Guard, of course. That State Guard that Florida has, that Governor DeSantis is referring to, was actually formed as a reaction to COVID vaccine mandates just a few years ago. And we also note this, Florida's been sending members of the National Guard along with state law enforcement officers to Texas for several months now, in fact, since last May. So this development and deployment essentially doubles down on those efforts, and we'll see. I'm sure he'll be criticized some more for it, but he's getting a lot of support as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark.
Sure.
Meanwhile, the border security bill negotiated by the Senate has been declared absolutely dead by Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. The White House and a bipartisan group of senators have been working on the legislation for weeks and hope to officially unveil something as early as this week. But any deal appears to face an uphill battle in the House, where Republicans have been urged by former President Trump to scuttle the deal.
He'd been conducting interviews with migrants who crossed into the U.S. Your reaction to that answer, soon you will know who I am.
So I'm so happy that a video.
Did you catch that, Jay?
I did, yes.
She was talking about it. Yeah, it's already slowed down. A migrant said, soon you will know who I am.
Yeah.
He'd been conducting interviews with migrants who crossed into the U.S. Your reaction to that answer, soon you will know who I am.
So I'm so happy that a video surfaced because there's an argument that we've made at the United States Supreme Court because we have one or two cases in the Supreme Court as we speak right now against the Biden administration about illegal immigration. And as the court weighs and considers our defense against the Biden lawsuit, they have to consider whether or not there is an invasion going on. I have asserted in court that there is an invasion going on in the United States of America, and that videotape typifies why there is such an invasion. That is a threat to the United States of America, what he said, but it's not a one-off threat. We see things like that happen every single day. So, Maria, my hope is that the United States Supreme Court and courts across the country, they see exactly what's happening on our border. It's not what happened under Bush or under Trump or under Obama. This is something completely different that has never happened before in the history of the country. This is an invasion by people we don't know who they are, where they're coming from, or the danger they may pose. And so it's right for Texas to have taken the steps that we have taken to crack down on the illegal crossings to declare it an invasion and use every tool we can to do the job that Biden is not doing, and that's to try to deny illegal entry into our country.
Yeah, and that invasion happened after Joe Biden walked into the Oval Office when he first started his term and started reversing all of President Trump's border security. So, Governor, I ask you, I mean, do you have evidence that in Texas you see things like theft and murder and upset? Do you have evidence that some of that is the result of potential gotaways or potential illegals in your state right now?
So, Maria, just as one example, there was a horrific murder of a young teen cheerleader in a high school a little bit north of where the border area is, and this was a few months back. Maria, things like this happen way too often, and Fox News has reported multiple crimes by illegal immigrants over the past couple of months, and this is something happening every single day.
Wow.
But what we don't know is the full extent of the terror that has been imported into the country because of all the people who are on the terrorist watch list. We know the record number who've been apprehended, but people on the terrorist watch list, they pay more to not be apprehended. No one knows how many terrorists are in our country because of the open border policies allowed by Biden. One last real quick thing, Maria. People forget how secure our border was. Trump put into place 4 policies that led to a secure border. And when Biden came into office, he eliminated those 4 policies. We can have a president that will impose a secure border.
Yeah, and you've been managing all of this while also producing growth, economic growth in Texas. So my hat's off to you in that regard. But Governor, this morning you are in Mumbai, India. You are leading an economic development mission in India for the next week. Tell me about your trip. A lot of businesses are looking for an alternative to China in terms of producing goods, but they're not so sure if they can find it in India because of the lack of infrastructure. What can you tell us?
Listen, the growth in India is faster than any other large country in the entire world, and we're seeing it firsthand. And Texas already has established extensive trade relationships with the largest businesses in India. Today, I visited with leaders of Reliance, which is the #1 largest business in India. I met with leaders of Emphasis, with Tata, with Wipro, all of which are in the top 25 largest businesses. And they have their largest operations in the United States or in the state of Texas. So we're here making sure that with those already doing business in Texas, that they will continue to expand that. With those that are not yet doing business in Texas, we're explaining why Texas has repeatedly been ranked the #1 state for doing business and the #1 state for economic development projects, and why we have no income tax, a reasonable regulatory environment. We make it easy for businesses to start and grow. And with India growing the way that it is, it's going to be a robust trade partner for years to come.
So you think you can continue to tap into the growth of India to help the businesses headquartered in Texas?
So yeah, the answer is yes, Maria, but remember this, and that is in the aftermath of both COVID, as well as the hostilities from China, there's nearshoring, which is what we see in Mexico. There's friendshoring, which is what we see in India. There are a lot of movement by a lot of businesses that have been doing business in China, moving operations to locations like India, and Texas will be tapping into those operations, making deals so that as India grows, so will Texas.
Yeah, well, does India have the infrastructure to handle it?
So, Maria, almost every place you go, you see infrastructure projects being built, highways, roads. A record number of airports are being put into place. The infrastructure is being built out by the Modi administration.
All right, we want to watch that. Certainly, I know businesses increasingly are looking for a production hub.
If you really want to fight and want to stand up, fine, do so in the ballot.
Right now, a group with the intention of stopping migrants from entering the U.S. heads to border towns, including one near Eagle Pass. The Take Our Border Back convoy says it'll be calling on the government to address the crisis at the border. And tonight, some are questioning the group's motives.
That's right. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jonathan Martinez.
I'm Mandy Noel.
In a video the group posted online, they say they condemn violence and aren't looking to engage with anyone. As News 4 San Antonio's Amanda Henderson reports, law enforcement along the border preparing for the convoy to arrive a bit later this week.
1,500 miles away from San Antonio,
The Take Back Our Border convoy has started its journey toward border towns.
And we're ready. We're ready to hopefully peacefully, and then nothing will happen.
The group's goal, according to their website, is to peacefully assemble on Saturday and call on government leaders to address the southern border. We reached out for comment, but have not heard back. USA! USA! No one knows for sure how many people are arriving, but officials say they're preparing for a large number. One of the convoys will stay in Quemado, about 20 minutes north of Eagle Pass in Maverick County. Sheriff Tom Schmerber of Maverick County says hours ago his office met with other law enforcement groups, including Border Patrol, the Department of Public Safety, and the FBI.
But we are going to have officer presence. We're going to have the DPS, my deputies, and so just they can do whatever they want to as long as it's peaceful.
In a video the group posted on social media, they say there are no plans to go to the wall or ports of entry, something Sheriff Schmerber says they want to keep everyone traveling to the border to keep in mind.
And they know the area, the DPS officers, they know the area, and they want to prevent something very, a tragedy. Somebody getting hurt. Anybody that wants to work in this area has to go to the sheriff's office, and we have to approve it. But we're not approving anybody that's not from here or don't have any credentials.
Sheriff Schmerber says they will have another preparation meeting later this week to figure out anything that might have come up between now and then.
This is the Americans stepping up, enough's enough, and the convoy. Look at that. That's fucking amazing, though.
It is. It just shows you when government fails, the people can step up.
I've never seen, citizens like us have to step up and do what our president wants. And, look at this. All American citizens, just normal people like us.
It shows that we really can make a difference. You know what I mean? That we really do have the balance of
You have to
power
stick
in our
together,
hands.
man. You got to go arm to arm, and no matter what, don't let them get you. You know what I'm saying?
This could never happen in the UK. This is why America is so much freaking better. The people have the power.
This makes me proud right here. It's sad, but it's like.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad that it's come to this, but it's also beautiful in a way because it shows the strength and the ingenuity of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all them flags.
Yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. From all over, look, all kinds of different flags, not just American.
And the thing is, there's people there from lots of different backgrounds, you know what I mean? So it just shows you that everyone is concerned about this. This is a thing that has affected everybody.
Mm-hmm. Look, nobody's fighting, nobody's nothing.
Nobody's even drinking. It's very disciplined and professional.
Mm-hmm.
You need to teach the Constitution to your children. If you want this country to continue and the legacy of freedom to continue, you need to work with God. You need to teach your children to work with God. And you need to teach your children about their Constitution.
See, I haven't even watched a lot of this. I just saved it, because I like watching it and finding out when I go over it.
Yeah, you like having your reaction being like a genuine first reaction. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, with my people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like some of the JLR stuff I have watched, but not all of it. But
yeah, I saw the stuff about the migrants beating on the cops. I'd seen that's disgusting. It's like you go to a place and then you act like that. It's like, Christ.
exactly, chicken lady, and we are, and Trump's gonna get this, and I can't wait. So here we go, JLR. This is the trucker convoys. Is this JLR?
Happening today, Governor
No?
Greg
Where'd he
Abbott is
go?
making a stop in Eagle Pass, along with 14 other governors.
Their visit comes as a convoy calling itself God's Army made its way to Eagle Pass on Friday.
Cool
Yesterday,
name.
the group held a rally calling for more border security.
Huh?
It's a cool name, God's Army.
It is.
Security. KENS 5's Mike Jimenez spoke to attendees and explains why a group of faith leaders is asking the governor not to visit Eagle Pass.
Organizers of Saturday's rally say they want to spread awareness to issues here at the border, and they hope legislators hear their call to action.
The amount of trafficking, the amount of drugs, the amount of everything that's coming across the border is hurting people.
Hundreds of people came out to Quemado, which is about 20 miles north of Eagle Pass, to attend a rally hosted by the Texas Independent Project. There were some concerns about potential violence at Saturday's rally, but law enforcement from different agencies were there to make sure that didn't happen.
Got a few people with some signs that we could do without, but they don't seem to be violent either. They're just saying their own thing that,
Freedom
I
of
don't particularly
speech.
agree with, but they got
Absolutely.
the right to say what they want as long as they do it peacefully.
Governor
Amen.
Greg Abbott will be in Eagle Pass Sunday, hosting 14 Republican governors at Shelby Park. The governors will receive a briefing on Operation Lone Star. That they will discuss President Biden's border policy.
Look at them kids. Look
Meanwhile,
at that
faith
shit.
leaders in Eagle Pass had an emergency meeting Saturday in response to the rally. They say they're concerned about the violent threats and chaos at the border. They're also calling on Governor Greg Abbott to cancel plans to visit Eagle Pass.
It's a serious concern. And I ask that Governor Greg Abbott, please relent, sir. Relent.
Nope.
Do not come. Do not visit our
He
community.
did. He came, and
At
I'm
the
so
border,
proud.
Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
Why are they talking about him not wanting to come? What was their freaking argument? What the hell were they talking about?
Because like Abbott shut down Border Patrol. He fired them because Border Patrol was the one letting them in.
Yeah.
They were cutting the wire and stuff. And Abbott's like, and he has a National Guard, and they didn't want him there because Abbott's doing the right thing.
Oh, that's BS. I can't believe there's people in a church
Kind of like they're trying to
talking.
silence him.
Yeah, it's stupid. They're using religion to try and, influence people's politics. That's so wrong. That's like, they shouldn't do that.
Right.
They should shut up about politics in the church.
What are we doing here? This one here is
They do that
21
in Ireland
minutes.
as well a lot, like with the migrant stuff. Like people like are like being like condemned and like talked about really poorly by the church in Ireland as a result of them protesting like illegal immigrants, and they're being called racists and all that. It's absolute nonsense, and the church in Ireland has always tried to influence politics. You know what I mean? The Catholic Church. And,
yeah.
I have a concern with something that is based in Rome influencing Ireland and other places to such a degree. You know what I mean? I don't know where these people's loyalties actually are. Is it in Ireland or is it in Rome? You know what I mean? Is it in America or is it to Rome? You know what I mean? So I mean, I was brought up a Catholic, and I freaking think that, I see it for what it is.
Look at the title on this one. It says migrant detained at gunpoint.
Wow.
Eagle Pass. It's 21 minutes. We're not going to watch all this, but I haven't seen this. I want to see it though, but see what? I wish I could see the date. We'll just watch a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Just see the migrant detained at gunpoint. What'd he do?
Go ahead and stay back for me.
I want to know what he done. That's kind of nice to see right there. I mean,
Yeah, they're out in force.
Look, he's scared to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicken Lady, I think Ted Nugent did stop by there.
I love Ted Nugent.
Me too. I like Ted Cruz. Ain't that his name? Shit, I can't remember.
Ted Nugent is the rock and roll star. You're the
Yeah, there's
pro-gun.
another one, Ted Cruz or something.
He's the politician, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, it don't look like. Oh, he's laying down. Let's see here. I want to know what he done. This is not what I thought it would be.
Was he simply just going over the border illegally, or did he get
I don't
him
know.
doing
It
something?
just started where he was sitting there.
He could have been smuggling something, and they could have got him for that, because it seems like they're using more, like there's more of them than there would be for just illegal crossing.
They need to start making examples of these people.
Yeah, because they need to show them that they're not a soft touch.
Distill fear in them,
Yeah, so they don't try it again. You know what I mean? Because if they just take them back over all nicely, they'll try it again the day after. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but
work.
if they come across that border, shoot them. I mean, that's horrible to say, but
at least fire warning shots. At the very least.
something,
First.
injure them somehow, though. Like shoot their foot or make an example. Hey,
Absolutely,
we're done.
I agree, because how can we call ourselves a sovereign nation if we don't secure our own borders? That's the key component of an independent
That's why
country.
we have military, to
That's why the
protect us.
army's there, exactly.
Not kill them, but like shoot their knee or something something.
Exactly. Stranglehold, Chicken Lady. I love that song. It's brilliant. Ted Nugent freaking fires his guns in the air at his own concerts. It's brilliant. It's funny.
So many people has been going to this, and so I love it.
I mean, it just shows you the mentality. You look in these comments, and like the overwhelming majority of people are supportive of keeping them out.
I want to see Kid Rock come down here.
Kid Rock, yeah.
Yeah, because him and Trump's like best buds.
Yeah.
I want to know about this dude. Are they just making an example of him, or what did he do? There's no context to it.
I mean, because he could be anyone. He could be like MS-13. He could be anybody.
That looks like Homeland Security there. Where is it? No, it's Border Patrol. Oh, Lord. He's good. He's going to be free. Oh, no, look, the National Guard there, though. Border Patrol a little outnumbered.
Is the uniformed guy a sheriff, or is he part of the Border Patrol?
Yeah, he looks like sheriff.
Yeah, he looks, because of the hat.
And the khaki pants.
Yeah.
He's something.
Yeah, he looks like he ain't Border Patrol.
Look, they're not letting Border Patrol have that dude, are they?
Yeah, they're National Guard, yeah.
Yeah.
They're Border Patrol. Funny, the Border Patrol look like, exterminators.
Yeah, Border Patrol is... Why do we even have them?
They're not very well uniformed or very well equipped, are they? And look at the van they're driving. It's just a painted over utility
I'm bigger
van.
than that Border Patrol dude. What'd you do, buddy? Coming in our country?
Yeah, like you'd expect the vehicles to be, since the cartel bring these people in a lot of the time, you'd expect the vehicles to be at least armor plated, the Border Patrol ones, because they probably get shot at quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. And look, the National Guard kind of has those guns kind of
ready.
Look, see, they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not letting that guy go. I love this. I don't even know what's going on, but I know National Guards.
Yeah, as far as I know, the National Guard would have more authority, wouldn't they, than the Border Patrol? Or Well, it depends on what the matter would be, wouldn't it? If it's a serious thing that he's doing, then probably yeah. But if
See,
it's minor,
Border Patrol has ran the border for years, and then when Greg Abbott made that law or whatever, he went in and fired every one of them and brought in the National Guard. The National Guard was never part of the border like that until now.
yeah, I think they always should have been because, like, you know what I mean? Like, like, other than that, they come in for national disasters and like mass riots and stuff like
You know,
that.
we all thought, you know, the Border Patrol was doing that job. We thought that's what they were for. You know what I'm saying? And now we're seeing, no, they're cutting the fence and letting them in.
Yeah, they're not fit for purpose. They're just enabling it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon that they get a lot of bribes as well
What's
to
this?
do it.
What's he giving him? What's he giving him?
Wow.
Is that a phone?
Paperwork and a phone, yeah.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
He's giving him a bag to put the phone in.
Oh, okay.
For something.
See if they confiscate it.
Yeah.
Oh, National Guard must have called him. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah, like they were on a routine patrol and they just saw him, yeah.
mm-hmm. What the fuck? Shoelaces so he don't
Try and hang himself, yeah.
We think so much alike, Jay. I love it.
It's like, yeah, it's like if you were monetized, but you wouldn't even be able to say freaking hang. This is how ridiculous.
See, people don't get why I don't want to monetize.
Yeah. I'm so glad you don't, because I don't have to be like, is it okay to say this in my head before I freaking speak?
You know, if I want to say you motherfuckers, I'll say it. Yeah, but like we wouldn't be able to say hang himself or, you know, the kids being trafficked and all that, and none of it if you're monetized. And I don't want to be silenced. Yeah, the little extra money would be all right, but it's not worth it for me.
Do you know what it looks like round there? It looks like freaking Jeepers Creepers.
They ain't letting them guns down though, are they? Look.
No.
That one got that trigger. He got his finger on it.
Yeah.
And you know Border Patrol feels like they're 1 inch tall now.
Not actually have to do their job for a change.
Right.
It must be a pretty sweet gig being a Border Patrol agent when, like, there's a Democratic administration, because literally all you do is just sit on your ass.
Look.
Arrive alive.
That's from Florida.
I was watching the Truman Show earlier, and that was filmed in Florida.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was
I'm
filmed
originally not down here, from down here.
Yeah, Seaside, Florida, if you know where that is.
Yes. Very wealthy area of Florida.
Yeah. It's like one of those,
hold on,
coveted
they're taking him
communities. Sorry.
somewhere.
Sorry.
Look, they're getting him. No, you're good.
Pull your pants up, man.
He's not happy.
No, he's storming into the van. Where did they take? Oh, you're going to take him in the Border Patrol, yeah.
Because now Border Patrol has to do something to this illegal.
And then they just drive him, like, right to the border and just let him over again.
I'd put him back over at Rio Grande River or whatever. Swim,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here, you know? Oh, they got him. I still wonder what he did, though. Look at that.
Probably maybe down there since.
Oh, it's JLR, I think.
Since these two are down here.
Is that JLR talking?
There's other groups of people here came out to see.
Oh, it is JLR.
KKB.
Yes.
Have you heard about all them like tunnels in like Texas and places? Have you heard about them? Like weird tunnels.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Like
I've heard there's
tunnels and
weird tunnels
vaults.
in Moscow, Idaho, or whatever the college kids
Yes.
that got.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah, I've heard that. There's
Like
definitely tunnels in New York City.
yeah, those
Like,
under the synagogues and places. Like yeah, I reckon like if Epstein lived, that'd be the type of place he'd hide. You know what I mean? And then he'd like disappear because like, you know, I think because he was too in with them, he probably like I personally think he faked his death. Like it was his body was replaced. Do you
oh
think
yeah,
that's possible?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Because he was,
definitely.
you know, when you're friends with these people, they help him out. You know what I mean? Why would he talk when he's one of them? Why would he betray who he is? You know what I mean? It wouldn't have lessened shit because of how serious the charges are. You know what I mean? Like if it's like a drug offense or something minor and petty, you know what I mean? If you're grassing someone, you can probably get the charges lifted, but not stuff like that. You know, it's. But yeah, sorry if I was distracting or anything.
Oh no, not at all. I'm listening and squirreling and trying to see what we can. Because JLR is doing fantastic on this.
Yeah,
I'm
Ireland's really waking up to like the whole migrant thing because it's weird. It's like for like years and years and years, like a lot of Irish people used to be really left wing, but then like loads of migrants came in, illegals, and started committing crimes and stuff, and like attacking people, women and stuff. And now the people have risen up, you know what I mean, and like they're just not accepting it anymore, and it's a real change.
And you know, I never would have got into this if it wasn't for JLR. He opened my eyes to a lot.
Yeah, JLR and there's a woman that talks about this. Is it Squirrel? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another one, Oreo something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a part of this here. This is where like all the truckers are gonna. That's not what I want to do. Let's see. Just a second.
Thank you to my fellow governors. Half of America now is standing against the Biden administration, also more than a majority of all the attorneys general across the country. Biden is not taking on Texas. Biden is taking on the United States of America.
Have you done everything you can do with executive authority? Or is there more you could do? Absent, but you know, all I can do. Give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work.
And now Joe Biden's being encouraged to federalize your National Guard, your state guard. What happens if he tries that? Because he did have a deadline of Friday. He hasn't done anything as usual, but what if that happens?
If he tries to do that, well, first of all, as you know, this is the number one issue in America. Americans want a secure border. If Joe Biden federalizes our National Guard, that would be the biggest political blunder that he could make. And that's why I think he will not do it. That said, of course, I am prepared in the event that they do make such a blunder to make sure that Texas will be able to continue to secure our border.
A convoy is on its way to the Texas border.
It's being called the Take Our Border Back convoy, and it will pass through Austin on its way to Eagle Pass on Thursday. Our Ryan Chandler tells us what to expect.
From the East Coast to the Rio Grande, organizers say hundreds, maybe thousands, will join the Take Back Our Border convoy, coming to Texas this Thursday and Friday.
This is a grassroots operation. This is organic entirely.
Here with more, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, first, I applaud your efforts. You've been on this show many times. You've tried convoys. You have done everything humanly possible. So your state, with its constitutional right, has put up the razor wire. They take you to court on that.
Number one, the president has taken this incredibly seriously.
incredibly seriously.
Should the American people be prepared for the situation on the border to get worse?
You know, it's not about the governor of Texas. It's about the people of Texas.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott said his state will continue to hold the line against the Biden administration's border crisis.
And I want to talk about another top issue, the border. I'm ready to solve the problem. I really am. Massive changes. And I mean it sincerely.
But the president, you know, he is a president for all Americans. We will not shy away from calling out what we see as political games from the government.
I can't stand this woman.
Because it is not safe. It does not protect.
Exactly. She doesn't even address.
It doesn't
the
help
problem.
Border
She
Patrol
just
to do their
throws it
job.
back.
So we will continue to call that out. That's not going to hold.
I think she just likes to hear herself talk.
Shelby Park, it's still business as usual there.
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
lined
she's
up with that
just amazed
concertina,
that she's
that
in the
razor
position
wire,
she's
which
in.
has become the focal point for the nation here, watching this Biden versus Texas fight really play out. But where we are is 20 miles outside of Eagle Pass, where at least 200 people have already crossed today. That's down from around 700 earlier this month. Now, that number started to go down when the razor wire went up in Shelby Park. We reported that. It's a stark contrast from the
people with
4,000
kids,
daily
you know,
crossings that we were seeing and
surrendering.
reporting back in December. Now, that razor wire only spans the length of the park. It's about 2 miles. So around 3 or so miles outside
When
of
they
that park
get
is what
back,
we're
I think
looking
the
at. That's actually
authorities in their home countries should seriously look at take you know, if they're fit parents, you know what I mean? Because of them doing that, putting the kids in such a dangerous, possible fatal situation, you know.
And then they get separated
Reckless.
from the kids, and I guarantee you those kids are being trafficked and sold.
Yeah. And it's even the separation itself, which they're causing, is a form of
Don't
abuse.
bring your kids to a gunfight.
Absolutely. It's reckless. It's disgusting.
kind of quarantined off, if you will. And that leaves plenty of opportunities for people to get over to the U.S. side. All you have to do is basically walk till that razor wire ends. So
Hey, Rock, how you doing?
few miles of razor wire aren't stopping everybody. Earlier this morning, we talked with Congressman Tony Gonzalez. This is his district, and he thinks that the attention of smugglers and the cartel is causing them to be more conscious about where they bring migrants and when they send them across. Take a listen.
It's no doubt that it starts and it ends with the cartels, the criminal organizations on the Mexican side that determine how many people come over, where they go. Are they going to California? Are they going to Arizona? What part of Texas are they going on? They control a lot of it. What they do is they kind of take a moment, they retool, they readapt, they pick different lanes, if you will. And then all of a sudden, the numbers spike back up. So I fully expect that to happen in the next phase.
The president can and should act now. This doesn't require legislation. It requires leadership. And despite the White House's claim, he has all the authority he needs right now under existing federal law to stop this madness. You have red and blue states all across this country that are being forced to step up because the federal government has failed to do its job. Every state in America is now a border state. Right here in Texas, Governor Abbott has heroically done more to enforce the law than the president has.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott said his state will continue to hold the line against the Biden administration's border crisis.
Former President Donald Trump has put himself right in the middle of Governor Greg Abbott's battle with the White House over border security. On Thursday, Trump asked for all willing governors to send their National Guard troops to help send migrants back across the border. It comes as Governor Greg Abbott and the White House continue fighting over razor wire along the border in Eagle Pass. The Supreme Court has ordered the wire's removal, but Texas troops are still putting it up. Governor Abbott is standing firm against the Supreme Court ruling, criticizing President Joe Biden for not enforcing immigration law.
Almost all of the Republican governors are rallying behind Abbott in his border showdown. 25 Republican governors signed a letter supporting Abbott and affirming that the state has the constitutional right to defend itself, including adding more razor wire along the Rio Grande to secure the border.
All right, let me just use a few minutes here and get a different take.
Texas National Guard soldiers and National Guard soldiers from other states are being used to frustrate federal authority. They are being used to get in the way of federal immigration enforcement and to flout a court order from a federal court. At what point does the president step in and say, enough of that. These are American soldiers. I am federalizing the National Guard and ordering them to let the Border Patrol do their jobs because they took an oath to the Constitution and I am their commander in chief. When does enough become enough?
So I'll say this. I'm not going to speculate on any actions the president could use. I'm just not. I'm just not going to do that.
Because even
it is
he
very
doesn't know
clear,
what he's gonna
and
do.
I would remind everyone that the circumstances under which the federal government can mobilize a state's National Guard are outlined in the law, right? So that I'll leave that there, but I'm just not going to get into speculations on any actions the president's going to take at this time. Number one, the president has taken this incredibly seriously. Incredibly seriously. When you have a president for their first legislative action is to deal with immigration and put forth a comprehensive plan to Congress, because that's
Deal
the way
with
you're going to
immigration.
actually deal with this issue. 3 years ago, Andrew. And no,
Do what, Jay? I'm sorry.
So like deal with immigration. It's crazy. He's made it like he's made the problem by literally the first thing he did was to create this problem.
I can't stand this woman.
No, she's full of herself and she really like
Yeah, see her.
she's a BSer. She's a BSer and like that's why he's got her there because she's a good BSer. It's like she's good at saying a lot of things without really saying anything. You get what
Just
I'm
word
saying?
salad. She goes in circles like a
Absolutely.
dog chasing his tail.
Absolutely. Like him.
And that's
Like him.
confusing people, they don't know. They're like, what?
There's no
Okay.
clear leadership from them. They're absolutely feckless and they're going to get their arses handed to them in the election. It's a fact. You know, even if Trump's excluded from X, Y, and Z ballot, they're still going to lose. I reckon he'll pick up some states in the north that haven't voted Republican. Hint, hint, New York, which haven't voted Republican since frickin' Ronald Reagan. You know what I mean?
Right. Man,
For
New York
president.
was full before this shit started happening,
Yeah.
Was encouraging all states to send their National Guard troops to the border to help Texas and to move migrants back across the border. Do you have any response to this effort to have states take on federal immigration policies?
So look, I've been pretty clear about, these states, if they really want to help and assist, if they want to help get more resources to deal with the border, the challenges at the border, they should be calling on their senators and representatives to join the administration and working in a bipartisan agreement to get that done. That's our message. That's what we'll tell all the governors, the Republican governors, obviously in particular.
Can you speak to President Biden's relationship with Governor Abbott? I know there's been a lot of back and forth. There's court cases. How is that relationship?
Well, they've had opportunities to meet a couple of times. The president has been in Texas. You've seen it for yourselves, how they have engaged with one another. And, we've been we will not shy away from calling out what we see as political games from the governor. Because it is not safe. It does not protect our communities. It doesn't help Border Patrol to do their jobs. So we will continue to call that out. That's not going to hold us back. But the president, he is a president for all Americans. It's not about the governor.
Well, I feel
Texas.
like,
it's about the people of Texas. Because you hear me say this, and he has.
I feel like it does help because, if you're trying to get over, what are you going to be more concerned about? Guys dressed in military equipment with AR-15s or some Girl Scout looking dude who's like nothing? Like what are you what's gonna deter you? You know what I mean? Like it's just common sense. She's talking bullshit. It's crazy. There's no logic behind what she's saying.
And like they always got her talking, being the speaker and stuff, but she's worthless.
Absolutely, like it's versus freaking what's her face, Sarah Sanders, and the other one, the younger one, that Trump had. The press secretaries, that they were really good speakers. She's horrific.
She's. Let's see, her was. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. What does that say? Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Okay, let's.
Well, at least half of America's governors now backing Texas Governor Greg Abbott in his battle with the Biden administration over securing the border. They are all Republican. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is among them. She is at the border today in Eagle Pass, and she calls it a war zone. Governor, great of you to join us. We appreciate it. You say that you are proud of what Texas is doing. Tell us why.
I am. I'm incredibly proud of Texas and the actions that they're taking. They're protecting their state sovereignty. Listen, this is Texas land. Shelby Park belongs to the state of Texas. It's a part of the United States of America, and the president is refusing to defend it from an invasion. So today was the deadline that President Biden gave Texas to that they were going to start cutting down some of the razor wire. There has been none of that happening here today, but I, as the governor of South Dakota, see the effects of Joe Biden ignoring federal law and allowing this invasion every single day in my home state. The funneling of the human trafficking and the drugs comes across this border, comes into my state through my tribal reservations. It devastates my people. That's why I'm proud to stand with Governor Abbott and his people here that are working to keep America safe.
Do you worry, Governor, that Texas might be seen as defying the Supreme Court, defying the federal government, especially when Republicans mainly support the makeup of this Supreme Court?
You know, it's interesting, the decision that came out of the Supreme Court. They talked about the fact that Biden could take down concertina wire, razor wire. Texas will put it back up. I think there'll be other legal challenges, but I'm proud of the fact that this state and 25 other governors are standing and declaring and protecting our state sovereignty. Texas and those 13 original colonies would have never signed the treaty that formed the first Constitution of the United States if they didn't think that their right to protect themselves and defend their own people was protected.
Hell
So
yeah.
what Joe Biden is doing is threatening our state sovereignty. And if he does federalize the National Guard, the Texas National Guard, that'll be unprecedented. That is actually activating federal guard to and telling them to stand down and not protect the United States. I don't think we've ever had soldiers activated and told that they were being activated so that they would not protect and defend the United States of America. So we're in unprecedented times, and I'm incredibly proud of the men and women that are here on this border today, making sure that they're trying to slow down this invasion.
Yeah, I want to put these full screens up. These are Fox News voter analysis from Iowa and New Hampshire. I know you can't see them. It simply says that immigration is the #1 issue in both of those, Governor. And now, of course, you have the Biden administration saying that it's Republicans who don't want the border secure because they want to run on this. Do you believe that Congress can fix this mess down there?
We need leadership. You know, leadership has consequences. So Congress could, but if you have a president that ignores federal law, no law that Congress passes will be effective then. You have to have a president in the White House that respects federal law and respects immigration law and wants law and order. What Joe Biden is doing is fundamentally remaking America. If you want to see what America will look like in another year, another 2 years of Joe Biden's administration, look to Europe. Look at what's happened there and the devastation that they're enduring. Will it never be the same? And my question is if we don't stand now, if we don't defend our border and protect our country right now, where will we go? If we allow them to remake America, what other country is better? Why not stand here and protect and defend this country right now and fix what is broken? And what's broken right now is Joe Biden.
And finally, Governor, you're in the middle of the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, we're showing all the razor wire against the Rio Grande. And I'm wondering, yesterday you said that you would bring razor wire to Governor Greg Abbott. Did you bring razor wire down with you?
Not today, but we do have some ready to go if they need it. And I have told him that himself today. So, yes, we have plenty, and we'll bring the trucks down myself if we need to.
Governor, thank you for your time. We know you're busy down there. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I like her too, Chicken Lady. Let's see here. Biden is trying to blame Trump for this mess going on.
Which is crazy.
Let's see here. Just Fox News, yes. There's something here. Ted Cruz. What's that called? I love Ted Cruz.
Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars supports Ted Cruz. Did you know that?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was at a Ted Cruz rally. Yeah, him and what's his name, Corey.
I love Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Brain dead Biden brings us our video of the day. Brain dead Biden. He is fucking brain dead, man.
Tulsi Gabbard,
just
she's cool. I like her.
see. I was
She's
looking
a
on my
Hawaiian
phone for
senator.
this.
Or was. I'm not sure.
Here we go. I don't know what this says, but I like Ted Cruz.
Here with reaction, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, I saw your comments about Mitch McConnell, rightly. I think you're very angry with him. Rand Paul, did you hear the same thing he heard, that he didn't want people like me getting the information about the bill? Did you hear that?
I did, and this whole thing has been a disaster from the very beginning. It's been a disaster on policy, and it's been a disaster on politics. On policy, this bill is terrible. It is an absolute, it is a bill that Chuck Schumer wanted that is designed not to secure the border, not just not to secure the border. It's designed to make it worse. So this bill, as you noted, it codifies Joe Biden's open borders. Catch and release, the cause of this crisis, it codifies catch and release. It puts it into the law. Not only that, it normalizes 5,000 illegal immigrants a day. That works out to 1.8 million a year. That works out to about 6 million illegal immigrants over the 3 years of Biden. We have, in fact, seen 9.6 million illegal immigrants. So the idiotic Republican proposal was, let's be for 2/3 of the border invasion that Biden has allowed. That made no sense. Not only did it put it into law, 1.8 million every year in perpetuity, but it also put into law giving those illegal immigrants work permits, giving them lawyers paid for by the taxpayers. It gave billions of dollars to sanctuary cities to keep their policies going, and it gave billions of dollars to left-wing nonprofit organizations that are bringing the illegal immigrants in. So it funds the process. And I'll tell you the provision that, just as a Texan, that pissed me off the most. It went directly after the state of Texas, and it said any litigation filed challenging this law has to be filed in Washington, D.C. in federal district court. So Texas can't sue in the federal courts in Texas, where Texas has been winning. Instead, they got to go to Washington with the very liberal judges. This was a disaster on policy grounds because it did not solve the problem. But politically, it was even worse. Who won in this battle? And his name is Charles Schumer. Chuck Schumer did this. He knew it would fail. He wanted it to fail. But the purpose of this bill was to let every Democrat running for the Senate and running for the House to stand up and say, self-righteously, I wanted to secure the border. I really wanted to, but those mean Republicans wouldn't let me. And I got to say, Senate Republican leadership, I told them this months ago. Other conservatives told them this months ago, and they proceeded down this path that ended up, it was a box canyon with a kamikaze pilot crashing into a wall. It was a disaster, and it was entirely avoidable because what happened is Republican leadership ended up benefiting Chuck Schumer and the Democrats and doing nothing to secure the border.
The amazing part about all of this, Senator, is there is no need for Biden to get legislation from anybody. He through just the stroke of the pen, as I've been pointing out, put back in place the policies that were successful. Here's one interesting thing I noted in your home state of Texas. 99.99% of illegal immigration in Eagle Pass, where you put up the razor wire, it has ended. It shows that barriers work. And now they've moved to California and Arizona. And if Texas can build out more razor wire, I say they should continue doing what they're doing because it worked.
Texas is going to continue leading the fight, and we've got to. This crisis, it is massive. It is devastating, and we've got to lead the fight. And you know what Joe Biden is doing? Joe Biden is siding with the Mexican drug cartels against the American people. I got to say, the image of just a few days ago of those 6 illegal aliens who beat up 2 New York police officers. It was disgusting. And they got arrested. And of course, what happens? They get released from jail with no bail. And what do? Walking out, they flip the bird on both hands, walking out. That image, Sean, is the image of this campaign in 2024. That image, flipping the bird, is what Joe Biden and the Democrats in the Senate are saying to every American. They stand with the drug cartels, the human traffickers, the illegal immigrants, the criminals, and they stand against law enforcement, and they stand against American families. That's the message of this radical policy, and we got to stand up and fight against it.
272 days is an election, Senator. Your election is important, too. And I know you're being targeted, but you were the first person I called when the bill came out. I said, Senator, am I reading this correctly? And you said, yes, you're reading it correctly. But it's sad. The fact that they didn't want the people to know the details, that speaks volumes about the current leadership. Good for people like you in the Senate that hold them accountable. Ted Cruz, thank you, sir.
Republican leadership wanted to hide it from you and from the American people, and I appreciate your pointing out.
Unreal.
Chuck Schumer and George Soros are coming after me hard, so I want to encourage folks, go to tedcruz.org. I need your help.
Man, they trying to silence everybody, ain't they? You there, Jay? Jay. Must be having some issues. Just what did that go? Let's see. Ted Cruz, where'd it go?
Since America had borders. It's all because Joe Biden
What the fuck?
allowed this
What
entire
that?
area to be.
Here with reaction, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator,
You there, Jay? You having issues, bro? Where did this go? I want to see this where, because I haven't even seen this where Biden is blaming Trump. Where did that go? Right here.
He's getting impeached for a border that's breached. The House gearing up for a vote on the impeachment of DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. And we could get that very soon. Republicans accuse Mayorkas of failing to enforce.
You good, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I was just having mic issues. I've got my headphones in. It's been a bit dodgy lately.
Set them in the background or whatever it is.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Backstage.
Backstage. Yeah, I haven't been on lives in a while.
Thank you for coming up here with me. I enjoy talking about this.
Oh, you're welcome. I felt like I should. You know what I mean? Because like I've been in your lives a lot, you know, and I went on Cher's. I was live on her panel like a while ago, you know, and she.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, like I think you could probably go back and see it like a while ago, but
I tell her
yeah.
she needs to go live earlier because I go to bed kind of early, you know, and I
I
can't
feel
hang.
you there.
And I get grouchy when I'm tired. And
Yeah, and then you go in the chat and then you secretly block people and time them out.
and then somebody will be like, I think she's doing this and that. And if they say that, I'll fucking time them out again.
They're like, I think she's but timing people out. I think she's got a phone in her butt again. And you're like, no, I'm just fucking with people.
And then I'll time them out and they'll answer their own question.
And that was great. That stuff. It balances it out because obviously it's like heavy topics a lot of the time. So stuff like that really evens things out, the energy and stuff.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes.
Shit, hold on a second. My headphones died. 1 second.
It's fine.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, good. What'd you say there, chicken lady? Right, chicken lady. I did. I get on her all the time. I'm like, do it. Come on, man. I can't hang like that.
So how old are you, KKB, if you don't mind me asking?
41.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I always thought you were like mid-30s.
I get that a lot. Yeah, I turned 41 in September.
Really? Yeah. So you're
Mhm.
like, you were born like 82?
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cher's a year younger than me.
Really?
Oh, chicken lady's 42. So Cher's 40. I'm 41. Chicken lady's 42. That's cool. Man, whenever I turned 41 this year, I thought I was 42. I added a year to my age and I swore up and down I was 42. And then I'm like, somebody said something and I had to go on the calculator and add it up. I didn't even know how old I was.
Yeah, I forget a lot of the time because it just isn't as important when you get older.
It's not. And I really have to, like, sometimes my kids, I'll have to calculate it. It's like, it goes by so fast.
I even forget how old my pets are, you know what I mean? It's like, how old are they actually? You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like I know when their birthdays are, but because I like to, like, you know, give them special stuff like new scratching
Right.
posts and
But the
treats and
year
stuff.
they were born is a little different. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like, it's weird because like when people say, oh yeah, 2017 was like nearly 7 years ago, I'm like, what? What?
Right.
Like, that's scary. Don't say that to me.
You seem not a lot older, but you're mature for your age and
Oh
you're
yeah, because I think because you know, my dad was ill when I was growing up, so I had to kind of like be the man of the house from like a young age and like work from a young age. So like I think that
I
is
get
why I
that.
am the way I am. You know, I'm an old soul. I mainly
You are an
groove-
old soul.
Yeah, I mainly groove with people who are older than me. Like a lot of my friends are older than me.
I kind of agree with everybody. I don't care how old you are, as long as you're, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I have friends of different ages, but like I have noticed that most of the people I chat to are, you know, at least a few years older than me. You know, because it always was that when I was like that when I was growing up. I was always going around
And
with
that's
the
good
older
too to keep
kids.
you out of trouble.
Yeah, but I was always going around with the older kids, and funnily enough, because I looked older than a lot of them.
See, I was like that when I was like
Yeah.
in high school and stuff. I'd hang out with like the older kids. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got like facial hair like really early, so like they'd always get me to buy booze and cigarettes for them. So like I'd be going in at like 14 years old buying booze and cigarettes for like people who were 16, 17 years old, you know, and that's crazy, you know, and I'd like get money for it, but like stores would think like I'd go in on a Friday, buy like a load of wine for the girls, some vodka, some whiskey, some a bit of anything, and a bunch of cigs. And the shopkeepers would just think I was a total freaking alky, you know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
thought,
but
oh,
see,
I'm just having a
when
party.
I was growing up, I grew up in Kentucky, in the sticks and shit. But we knew the bootleggers. There was bootleggers. They got like a
Ooh,
cheap vodka and
yeah,
stuff, and they would
nice.
get, they would sell it to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Us teenagers, and they knew it. And hell, it's bootleggers out in the middle of nowhere, man. You get like them little pints of vodka. And
Yeah, because I spent my summers in Ireland and like people around there, rural Ireland as well. So people around there are making like moonshine, like Potchine, which is like the local moonshine. It's kind of like vodka, and like it's like a potato-based kind of whiskey type thing, but it's really high and it's made like in like rural places. But it's crazy, that stuff. Like I drank some of it and like I jumped off a cliff into the sea, and like
Oh my God.
I would never be that stupid even after a few drinks. But yeah, it was rocky as hell around there. So I'm lucky that I survived.
I'm lucky that I survived my teenage years. I am, because we would
same.
drink and drive, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I would sneak in the house, in the middle of the night, drunk as fuck, and
Yeah. There was this instance where it was Christmas time and I was like 15, and the people I was with, like the other guy was about 17, the others were like 19, 20, but they were so loaded and they had to get back from this house to another house. So then I drove at 15, and I drove them back, and I'd had a few
times were
myself.
different back then, though.
But yeah, they told me, and things are different in Europe as well. When it's weird, it's like gun laws are quite strict, but gambling laws and drinking laws are really laxed. You know what I mean? It's like it's dead easy to make bets in UK and Ireland, and it's so lax in Ireland specifically that I've been in bars and people have just been openly making bets, which is technically illegal, but nobody cares. You know what I mean? No one cares. And it's just like a different type of place.
They were the
I
best
like
times
that.
of my life back then,
Yeah, I like it where things are more laxed and there's not loads of regulations. It's like the old West, you know what I mean? It's like what America was
And look,
when
there
it
wasn't
first
no
started.
violence and stuff back then like it is now. Look at it. And
People were a lot happier because they weren't as controlled. When people start getting controlled and feeling like they're like in a cage being prodded with a stick, like any animal, which we are, you're gonna act out. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just
it's like
basic.
you put a muzzle on a dog, and eventually that dog's gonna get out, like
and rip it off and go crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's you're depriving it of being what it is. You know what I mean? It's just not healthy, and I think it is coming from the left. This desire for complete social control. You know what I mean? To take the guns away, to make the age where you can buy cigarettes and booze even higher, which is dumb. You know what I mean? I think if you can serve in the military at 18, you should be able to buy booze at 18. I really don't think there would be much difference if it was 18 to buy booze.
And you start putting regulations and shit on stuff, and
it doesn't stop it. You know what I mean? People are going to get it anyway. You mean to tell me that there's people who are like 20, 19 who don't have friends who are 21 who can go and buy them booze?
That's just like if they ban guns, people still gonna get them.
Exactly. In the UK, you know what I mean? It's difficult to get guns legally, but it's very easy to get them illegally. You can buy blank firing guns, and then you can legally buy a barrel online, and then remove the blank firing barrel and put a real barrel in, and now it fires live rounds.
Just like a drug addict, if they want that next high, they're gonna do what it takes to get it.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, even if you've not got any numbers, you go to some shady part of town, you walk around long enough, you'll find someone who'll be able to get you something. You know what I mean? It's just common sense. This stuff is everywhere. And regardless of any kind of regulation, it ain't going to stop it. You know what I mean? But the border situation's different because you can physically stop it. You know what I mean? Whereas with all that stuff, you can't. With this, you can. You know what I mean? You can put a clear wall up and a defense, and you can. Obviously, people will still get through with the tunnels that they've dug, the elaborate ones. But the
people
more
are still gonna get through, but you can slow it down.
Slow it down, absolutely, and make sure that they're not coming in mass. And if
like I said, I think they need to start shooting them in the kneecaps or something, man. I mean, not kill them, but
a deterrent, yeah. It'd stop them. It'd stop a lot of people from trying.
Make an example of these people. Line them up. All these people, get them, bam, bam, feet, whatever. Don't kill them, but if they go wild, then you might want to put a bullet in their head.
Exactly, because there's a lot of them, like they were saying in the report, like that girl that was killed. that are going around and attacking women, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
we don't know what they've done in their old country that makes them want to leave, you know
And
what I
like
mean? They could have
these
done lots
migrants
of
are kind
shit.
of like feral humans. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
wild humans, like wild cats, you know, feral cats. That's what these kind of people are. We don't
They
know who they
think,
are.
yeah, they think that we like owe them a bunch of shit and that
Mhm.
they can like treat the place like dirt and not respect the
Mhm.
people, and that we,
Mhm.
you know, we have to just, you know, accept it, otherwise we're racists, you know what I mean? Which is bull. You know, it's just ridiculous, and it has to end.
When I was on the road working for 10 years, we would get Mexicans, you know, from Mexico. They were called H2B2 workers or something like that. They would get a visa. They would come to America for 9 months to work, you know, and then go back home. But they
Yeah.
were doing it legally. You know what I'm saying? It was,
Yeah.
I'm all for that. And they were the best people. And
It's an insult to them, you, me, and everyone, you know, who tries and follows the law, that the illegals are getting so much freaking help and money and
Mhm.
stuff. It's, you know, it is really insulting, you know, and like, why would
It
people
is.
bother try
I don't even have
coming in the
health
legal
insurance, you
ways?
know. I have to pick and choose what health I want to take care of, you
You know,
know?
it's ridiculous that you have to do that,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? That you have to, you know, go through that the people, you know, born here and citizens, you know, aren't taken care of, but people who, you know, we don't know who the hell they are,
Mhm.
you know, it's just ridiculous. And,
No
you know,
birth certificates, no nothing, then
no, we don't know who they are. And it's, you know, with the situation in the Middle East and going the way it is, and the world the way it is at the moment, really fragile, is it a great idea to start, you know, just letting the door be open to people who could potentially attack us? You know what I mean? We don't know who the hell they are.
Mhm.
We don't know who's bringing them in.
We're the laughing stock of the world right now. Everybody's laughing at America.
Yeah, because it isn't strong. And if Trump was in, I realized that
And
he
it's kind
probably.
of scary, you know, that we're not strong. And that's when people come in on us.
Yeah, that's why the US bases are getting attacked overseas. Because the
Mhm.
people don't reckon that America's going to even bother doing anything in response. And the thing is, it's like they're not actually attacking the people who directly attacked those bases anyway. They're attacking people who are associated with those people. You know what I mean? It's never like hitting the root ever. It's always, you know, there's always some other agenda behind these things. It's like it's never we'll hit back for the defense of the nation. It's like we'll hit back as
We'll
long
get
as
your
there's.
family.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. As long as and we'll also like looking hopefully as a
It's like an eye for
precursor.
an
Yeah.
eye, you know, and
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
the thing is, it's like obviously I'm against America being the world police because it's not, you know, it's not good for the people of America to do that. But at the same
I
time,
agree.
America has a duty to, you know, uphold basic decency. You know what I mean? And not
You know,
let.
everyone's always looked up to us, you know, and
Oh yeah, I've always looked up to America because it stood up to, you know, the British Empire and won. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
you know, it stands up for the ideas of we the people. Right? The ideas of the many outweigh the feelings of the few. Whereas in the UK and
You know,
Ireland, that ain't the case.
and like we're supposed to be the land of the free. We are not free. We don't have no freedom anymore.
No, that's been eroded. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I guess the last thing that's there is obviously the guns. But like obviously there's states like California that are trying to freaking put a curb on that as much as they can. But there has been some success where the judge has ruled, the Supreme Court has ruled that, you know, it's unconstitutional for people to be, you know, checked, their backgrounds to be checked for just simply buying ammunition in California. You know what I mean? It's
And you know, and I
absurd.
think though, no matter what, you should have a right to protect yourself if someone comes into your home, you
Exactly.
know?
Even if you've got a criminal record that's, you know,
Mhm.
relatively minor, your rights as a citizen shouldn't be diminished as a result of that. Your
When
rights
you're in
should
your
be
own
steadfast.
home, you know, not like you're
Exactly.
out in public, you know, waving around, but if you have it at your home, you know, you have a right to defend yourself.
Exactly. And your children and your family and your
Mhm.
spouse, you know what I mean? And your animals, it's
Mhm.
like it's in your property, the things your valuables and stuff. It's like, you know, uh if someone's already been convicted of a crime, their right to due process, if they get accused of another, isn't taken away. So why should their right to defend themselves be taken away? You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm completely, that's how I feel about that. And, you know, it's funny how in Europe people are terrified of the idea of self-defense with firearms. But, you know, do they realize that, you know, the government and the police can't always fricking be there statistically, and rarely are when they actually are needed? So, you know, would you rather just be attacked and brutalized in your own home, or would you rather have a gun and like, oh, well, if you have one, you're more likely to use it? So, yeah, you're more likely to use it to fricking save a life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
drop all that propaganda that's thrown out by the royal family and the establishment in England, who don't want the people to have guns, because England ain't a republic, it's a monarchy. Monarchies, they don't want people to have guns, because guns equals people having power, and they want them to be the ones with the power. That's why the American Revolutionary War happened, because the royal family wanted to, you know, wield all this power over everybody.
I remember, you know, when I was little, my papa, he used to rabbit hunt, you know, and stuff, and he would
Yeah.
have like shotguns hanging in the back window of his truck, and you know, and it's like, and now, like, see, I'm a convicted felon because, you know, I got in a bunch of trouble when I was younger and went to prison and stuff, and
Oh, wow.
it was drug charges, and where I'm a convicted felon, I don't have any gun rights.
Yeah,
And if
I wondered about that, because
if I get caught around a gun or anything, I get 10 years in prison for
That's
it.
ridiculous.
Right, over
Absolutely
drug
ridiculous.
charges.
Yeah, and there'll come a day, and I promise you this, because people's marijuana convictions have already been expunged. There'll come a day when society evolves and comes to a state where they realize that non-violent drug offenses, you know, no one should have that on their records. You know what I mean? There's people that deserve to be put into freaking cages who are animals, and that ain't those people aren't those types of people that deserve that. You know, I'm talking rapists, I'm
It's like
talking
Ted
muggers,
Bundy and
murderers. You know, people who are scumbags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for taking a substance because you're suffering and you've been through a lot. You don't deserve to be criminalized for what is a disease. It's a medical disease, addiction. You know what I mean? They don't throw you in prison for having cancer. You know what I mean?
Right. See, mine was back in 2007. That's a long time.
Wow. It should,
Yeah.
you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, because I wondered about that, because, you know, you are quite conservative, and I wondered, and you have those bans for self-defense, so I wondered if it was a reason for that over the guns. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm alone. I don't like to say that, but yeah, I have some things. I don't have a gun, but you're gonna know I was there.
Yeah. You're allowed to have like a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So you can just carry
baseball
knives.
bats.
Yeah.
I have baseball bats, but you
yeah.
got to have a glove and you got to have the ball. If you just have the bat, that's like no.
Oh, you're not allowed to have like a kosh or anything, like a police baton or anything like that.
I think you can have a crossbow.
Really? Whoa.
I think so.
good.
Yeah.
You can get some crossbows that are, you know, just as deadly.
It looks
you know
like
what
a
I mean,
gun.
as a 22. As a 22. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Yeah. Someone told me that I could get a crossbow, you know, because it's like a gun, kind of. And
yeah,
I need to look into that.
You could get like a PCP pistol or rifle as well, like that takes gas, but like it takes the gas, so it's not like an air
CO2.
Rifle. It's more powerful than a CO2. It can fuck people up, seriously fuck people up. And
but yeah, if I get caught like with a gun, I'm going to prison for 10 years. It's crazy.
That is crazy. It's. I feel like it's very unconstitutional. The founding fathers. No, I don't think they wanted people just because they've been convicted of something to have their rights taken away from them. Their constitutional rights
over
taken
drugs.
away from them.
It was a violent crime I done, you know.
Exactly. They all sold freaking tobacco, booze, and George Washington grew hemp. So you know what I mean. So did Edison. So the nation was built on those things, and people just want to deny it. You know what I mean, and dismiss it when you know the founders of America.
You know.
You know.
And It's crazy.
Yeah, my favorite gun, honestly, is the SKS. I know it's a Russian gun, but my God, that gun it's like the precursor. It's like the daddy of the AK-47. It's like it's beautiful. It's breech loaded with a banana clip typically, and it's just beautiful.
But honestly, I would be willing to take a chance and protect my family, myself with a gun, and take that 10 years. You know what I mean? Does that
I
make
get
sense?
you there. Like, yeah, especially if it was like a life or death situation.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
would
mean?
rather take my chance and have that 10 years and my family be alive and
Yeah,
me
I
be
think
alive.
honestly,
And
if you went to a trial and you were on there for like, yeah, it was like a life or death situation, you picked up a gun and used it, I think the jury would find you not guilty. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure you take it to a trial because
I don't know.
think,
Kentucky's pretty strict on that, though. It's a Commonwealth,
oh,
The Commonwealth, they fucking burn your ass.
yeah, I think honestly they should they should just drop all that shit. Honestly, it's
Or give you a second
ridiculous.
chance,
Yeah,
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Because,
Or like,
since 2007, and I've not been in no trouble. I've been clean from drugs, except for I smoke pot, yes,
yeah,
since then. Come on,
exactly. I mean, it's not like you're some career criminal or ever was. You know what I mean? It's not like you'd ever like sell the guns to anyone who shouldn't have them. You know what I mean? It's like it's BS. It's or use them in any way you shouldn't. It's such a stereotype to say just because you've had a little minor conviction. You know what I mean? Which shouldn't have been a felony. It should. It shouldn't have. You shouldn't have even been arrested for something.
But
you
it
know
was
what
the
I mean?
damn Commonwealth, That's, you got a little static going on, bro.
Sorry, yeah, my headphone fell out.
Oh, I'd feel that. Mine goes dead, and then Ow, fuck. Did you see Chicken Lady's comment?
Oh yeah, the Prince Harry situation. Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty messed up. Just they. I see them really as like foreigners, to be honest with you, because
Wasn't he on Epstein Island? Wasn't he on that
yes,
call log?
yeah.
See, I'm interested in Epstein Island. I got a lot of stuff saved on that.
It's weird how it's right near the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Like, where the
I've been
hell
to
did
both
they
of
get that
those.
name from? Really? I've been to Montserrat.
I went on a cruise. I went
Have
on
you
a
heard of
cruise.
Montserrat?
I went to the British Virgin Islands and was a Tortillo or what was that? Then we went to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We went to St. Martin, St. Thomas,
Cayman Islands.
what else was it? Yeah, it was wild.
I've been to Bermuda. That place is pretty cool.
Oh, I would have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, it was funny. It's like it's still part of Britain. Like it's like an overseas British territory. Like how kind of like the Northern Mariana Islands are in the Marshall Islands and American Samoa and Puerto Rico are for America. That's what Bermuda's like for the UK. But during the Revolutionary War, the Bermudans stole a load of gunpowder and sold it to the US, like to the American rebels. So they've always like they'll be part of Britain, but in reality they're more attached to America because they're a lot closer, physically to America. They're just off the coast of Florida.
What?
Bermuda.
Oh yeah. Pretty close.
Yeah. Pot's legal there as well, recreationally. So like you're not gonna like get fucking bothered for it, which is good.
Chicken Lady, it is called Tortola. The British Virgin Islands where I went.
It's like all those countries that weren't big enough to declare independence.
It was amazing though. I loved it.
They're very nice in those places, though, aren't they? The locals.
Because they want your money.
Oh yeah. But like, yeah, I was talking to them, and they all called me governor, which is funny. Then, all right, governor. You know what I mean? I was like, that's funny. You know what I mean? Because they said I dressed smartly, and I said I'm not really dressing smartly. I'm just wearing a shirt and shorts. You know what I mean? This is like, I guess it's smart to them.
Right.
Yeah, they like cricket in those places, and I've just recently gotten into cricket, weirdly enough. Like, it's weird. Like, not long cricket, but short cricket. Like, I'll not look at long cricket, but I'll play short cricket. You know what I mean? Like, quick, you know, like baseball style stuff. But, like, sitting there for days, like, you know what I mean? Like, coming back a day later, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, an hour or two, that's me. You know what I mean? That's as long as a sporting event should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I like college sports, that's a little different, but I grew up on it, that's all I know.
Do you like dodgeball?
Kid dodgeball? Hell yeah.
I love dodgeball. Like, I played it like when we played it in like school.
And yes.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
were like
God,
the
you could
first
burn
group
some
in the
people
UK to
up,
play it.
man.
We were like the first age group in the UK to play it in
Where?
high school.
Hold up. Look, Chicken Lady is saying Biden is speaking live now. What channel? That'd be interesting. Look, we're all over the place. I love it. We're squirrels and let's see here if I can find I can probably find it. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there it is.
Let me rewind this. It's old fucker.
Way too old.
Can y'all see this? Is it?
I see it.
Oh, they're walking fast. Hold on. Let me slow it down. See what he's saying. Thank you, Chicken Lady. Uh-oh, here he goes.
Let me say a few things before I take your questions. As you know, the special counsel released his findings today about their look into my handling of classified documents. I was pleased to see he reached a firm conclusion that no charges should be brought against me in this case. This was an exhaustive investigation going back more than 40 years, even into the 1970s when I was still a new United States Senator. The special counsel acknowledged I cooperated completely. I did not throw up any roadblocks. I sought no delays. In fact, I was so determined to give the special counsel what he needed, I went forward with a 5-hour in-person interview over 2 days on October the 8th and 9th of last year, even though Israel had just been attacked by Hamas on the 7th and I was very occupied. It was in the middle of handling an international crisis. I was especially pleased to see special counsel make clear the stark distinction and difference between this case and Mr. Trump's case. The special counsel wrote, and I quote, "Several material distinctions between Mr. Trump's case and Mr. Biden's are clear," continuing to quote, "most notably, after giving..."
I think right here is the most like in touch with reality and sane that he's ever been. I've seen him speak.
It's reality because he's being honest about the fact that they handled him differently.
But it's okay him have documents, but it's not okay for Trump. And the fucking hypocrisy kills me.
It's okay for him to like have his son like be a China puppet, you know what I mean?
And have his laptop and cocaine in the White House and
any if it was like Trump, he'd have been impeached, you know what I mean? They'd have tried to impeach him, you know what I mean? So it just shows you the level of like how,
like that lady said,
much,
there's a lady, she said, I'd rather be grabbed by the pussy than have a pussy run our country. Let's see it.
After given multiple chances to return classified documents to avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it. In contrast, he went on to say Mr. Biden turned in classified documents to the National Archives and the Department of Justice, consented to the search of multiple locations, including his home, sat for a voluntary interview, and in other ways cooperated with the investigation, end of quote. I've seen the headlines since the report was released about my willful retention of documents. These assertions are not only misleading, they're just plain wrong. On page 215, if you had a chance, I know it's a thick document. On page 215, the report of the special counsel found the exact opposite. Here's what he wrote. There is, in fact, a shortage of evidence that I willfully retained classified materials related to Afghanistan. On page 12, the special counsel also wrote for another documents. The decision to decline criminal charges was straightforward. The evidence suggests that Mr. Biden did not willfully retain these documents. The evidence said I did not willfully retain these documents. In addition, I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of. Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends.
He's sad
and family,
fishing.
people who
He
love
should have
him.
never brought that up, in my
I don't need
opinion.
anyone.
It is pretty disgusting to use a dead relative for
when he passed
freaking
away.
family reasons.
Right.
For
Simple
political
truth,
reasons, I
after
mean.
500
Yeah, he's
two-day
sad
event,
fishing.
Going back 40 years. At the same time I was managing international crisis, their task was to make a decision about whether to move forward with charges in this case. That's their decision to make. That's the council's decision to make. That's his job.
I'm going to
He
jump down,
decided
okay,
not to move
KKP?
forward.
Okay,
Any
you're good.
extraneous
Thank you for
commentary
coming
is
so
up.
much. Thank you
no.
so much.
You're
I've loved
welcome.
every second and hope we can do it
Me
again.
There's no
too.
place in this report.
Great. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Mine is a matter
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
is now
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
closed.
Bye.
I'm going to continue what I've always focused on, my job of being President of the United States of America. Now, thank you, and I'll take some questions.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's
How
totally
bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I let you speak. That's.
Your memory has gotten worse,
No,
Mr.
look,
President.
my memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President.
Voters have concerns about your age. How are you going to assuage them? And do you fear that this report is only going to fuel further concerns about your age?
Only by some of you.
Mr. President,
Criminal liability today.
Mr. President.
Do you take responsibility for at least being careless with classified material?
I take responsibility for not having seen exactly what my staff was doing. It goes in and points out things that appeared in my garage, things that came out of my home, things that were moved not by me, but my staff.
Mr. President, for months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, "Watch me." Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your
Because
answer to
I'm the
that
most
question?
qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
Do you believe that? Why are you confusing the names of world leaders?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
I did not share classified information. I did not share it.
With your ghostwriter.
With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not.
But the
What
special counsel said in the
Well, no,
report
he
that it
did not say that.
Okay.
He did not say that.
But Mr. President, one other.
Let me answer your question. The fact of the matter is, what I didn't want repeated, I didn't want him to know, and I didn't read it to him, was I had written a long memorandum to President Obama why we should not be in Afghanistan. And I was of this multiple pages. And so what I was referring to, I said classified. I should have said should be private because it was a contact between the president and the vice president as to what was going on. That's what it is referring to. It was not classified information in that document. That was not classified.
He called on me. When you look back at this incident, is there anything you would do differently now? And do you think that a special prosecutor should have been appointed in the first place in both of these cases?
First of all, what I would have done is oversee the transfer of the material that was in my office, in my offices. I should have done that. If I go back, I didn't have the responsibility to that. That was my staff was supposed to do that, and they referenced that in the report. And my staff did not do it in the way that, for example, I didn't know how half the boxes got in my garage until I found out staff gathered them up, put them together, and took them to the garage in my home. And all the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked. It was in my house. It wasn't out in, like in Mar-a-Lago, in a public place where, and none of it was high classified. Didn't have any of that red stuff on it. You know what I mean? Around the corners? None of that. And so I wish I had paid more attention to how the documents were being moved and where. I thought they were being moved to the archives. I thought all of it was being moved. That's what I thought. Now, what was the last part of your question?
Whether a special counsel should have been appointed in this case and in the case of your rival president, former president.
I think a special counsel should have been appointed. And the reason I think a special counsel should have been appointed is because I did not want to be in a position that they looked at Trump and weren't going to look at me, just like they looked at the vice president. And the fact is they made a firm conclusion. I did not break the law, period. Thank you all very, very much. The hostage negotiation. Look. I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop, number one. Number two, I was also in a position that I'm the guy that made the case that we have to do much more to increase the amount of material going in, including fuel, including other items. I've been on the phone with the Qataris, I've been on the phone with the Egyptians, I've been on the phone with the Saudis to get as much aid as we possibly can into Gaza. There are innocent people, innocent women and children who are also in badly in need of help. And so that's what we're pushing. And I'm pushing very hard now to deal with this hostage ceasefire because, as a, you know, I've been working tirelessly in this deal. How can I say this without revealing it? To lead to a sustained pause in the fighting, in the actions taking place in the Gaza Strip. And because I think if we can get the delay for that, the initial delay, I think that we would be able to extend that so that we could increase the prospect that this fighting in Gaza changes. There's also negotiations. You may recall, in the very beginning, right before Hamas attacked, I was in contact with the Saudis and others to work out a deal where they would recognize Israel's right to exist, make them part of the Middle East, recognize them fully in return for certain things that the United States would commit to do. And the commitment that we were proposing to do related to two items. I'm not going to go in detail, but one of them was to deal with the protection against their arch enemy to the northwest, northeast, I should say. The second one, by providing ammunition and material for them to defend themselves. Coincidentally, that's the time frame when this broke out. I have no proof what I'm about to say, but it's not unreasonable to suspect that the Hamas understood what was about to take place and wanted to break it up before it happened.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to need everybody to hold for a moment.
That pussy motherfucker. I think I am going to get off here. We've been 3.5 hours and it's been really nice. Thank you, Jay, so much. Thank you all for such a awesome conversation. And you're very welcome, Jay. Love good conversations on politics, and I've never been into it. And yeah, Chicken Lady, I love you. But I don't know if anybody's live right now, or I don't know if Cher's going live tonight. Let's see. And plus, this takes me away from Harmony's case. Biden was a little feisty tonight, wasn't he? Let's see. What is today's date? Oh, Cher's doing a live tomorrow at 2 o'clock. She's finally listening. Good deal. So 2 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern time, my time, Cher will go live. Alrighty. He didn't get his oatmeal. Oh, Jay, you can say whatever you feel, and I will never judge you. You're welcome to your opinion. As long as people are respectful, I love respectful, like, conversations. You know what I mean? We don't have to agree. Dead King. Starbomb, at least he wasn't looking for fucking chocolate chip ice cream like he was talking about during the Nashville school shooting. Piece of shit. All right, I got to get off here this time. I love you all. Thank you all. Every one of you all. Your love tomorrow afternoon. Cher's going live. Y'all come join us. And good night. Sleep tight. And let's see here. Where are we going to go? I don't want to do summer politics. Let's see. I always have to play a little clip here. Good night. Love you all.
It's time for a change. Yeah, I came with some buddies who don't mind getting muddy and bloody and standing for something and putting some sense into this corrupt country. Go ahead, big dog. Come over here and say something.